Game Corner Podcast, episode 50, ranking every video game console and handheld from the Magnavox Odyssey to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Something Casey wanted to do, and I think it's interesting. Casey's going to have to take the lead on some of this, though, because I don't know a whole lot about a good handful of these consoles.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the tier list up in a couple of minutes. I just got a small bit of gaming news I want to get through real quick, and it's all very small. So it'll go, really quickly.
Are we on Twitch or YouTube?
Yeah, I decided to do Twitch tonight because of how late it is and because I had it already set up for Twitch. So I was gonna do YouTube, but then because it's already after 10 p.m., I figured, you know what? I already got Twitch set up. So instead of taking more time to set it up for YouTube, let's just go on Twitch tonight, and we'll try again for YouTube next time. But yeah, so there's a little bit of gaming news I want to get through real quick. Literally,
there we go.
Just 3 things to talk about real quick. Casey, you might like this part, this piece of news here. You like battle royale style games, Casey? Like retro battle royales, like Tetris and Super Mario, right?
Oh yeah. I wish Tetris wouldn't be really hardcore, where you go to the blocks over there. I kind of wish it was more survival, and like you just ramp up the speed, then having people throwing blocks at you. But I really love Mario 35.
Well, I got a piece of Mario 35 news, but before I get to that, how would you feel about a 64-player Pac-Man Maze Battle Royale game?
Oh, that sounds like fun.
There is a demo out as of today. Let me pull it up real quick. I forgot to pull this up. I forgot the name of the game. It's called Pac-Man's Mega Tunnel or some stuff like that. Let me see. Let me pull it up here. It's currently only available on the Google Stadia platform for whatever reason. Pac-Man.
Stupid.
It's announced for Pac-Man's 40th anniversary. So apparently this year is also Pac-Man's birthday. Okay, so I was right. It's called Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle. That's a mouthful.
You figured this should have been on all consoles. I mean, why Google Stadia? I mean, no one likes that. I mean, that shit's going to go away very quickly.
So right now it is a Google Stadia exclusive. Right now the game's not even out yet, actually. There's only a demo available right now from today until October 27th. There is a demo available of the new Pac-Man game. The full game actually doesn't release until November 17th, which is next month. There are currently no information as to whether or not the game is going to come on other platforms. But one would hope that it would. Because if it's just a Stadia exclusive, it's going to bomb.
Oh yeah, no one's going to ever play it. I mean,
the game will retail for $20, by the way, when it does come out. So that's not a bad price,
Yeah, it's not a bad price, but if it came out on the Switch or even the PS4 or Xbox One, whatever, I'd pay for it. But I'm still having it on Google Stadia. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Google Stadia is a cloud-based system, but I don't even know. And by the way, Google Stadia is not on the tier list because it's really not a game console. I mean, it kind of is, but the Google Stadia thing is kind of like in the same way as the Steam machine. How that really wasn't treated as a game console, even though it kind of was.
Yeah, I would lump it up with the Steam machines.
So, But yeah, I don't even know how many people actually have the Stadia platform. And I do know that some people that do have the Stadia platform don't even use it anymore because of how Google structured the whole thing.
Well, you know what we should do is like a poll, like who actually has it. Like of all the people we deal with, like see who actually has it. At all.
I mean, I could put that. I mean, we could put that poll up, or maybe you. I have a poll running already on my Twitter,
Yeah.
so maybe you could put that on your Twitter, and
Yeah.
see how many people actually have the Stadia, and then
It's probably
we can run it, and then we can announce. We can announce the poll. We could announce the results of the poll on Drew's show on Sunday night.
yeah. It's probably most like it's going to be a landslide saying no.
You could put it up like how Joe does it. Like you could say like, "Do you have a Google Stadia?" You'd be like, "Yes, no, fuck that shit." Just see how it comes out. But so yeah, so that's that. It's a Pac-Man 64 player.
How do you spell Stadia? Real quick.
It's Stadia.
IA. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Stadia. Google Stadia. Yep. So the Pac-Man game is a 64-player battle royale where, of course, the goal is to be the last Pac-Man eating. And there will be multiple Pac-Men running around multiple mazes. Not every character will start on the same maze from the information I've been reading. So it's not going to be like Mario 35 or Tetris, where everyone's going to start on the same playing field. It's going to be randomized, and players will start in different mazes. And mazes will load into each other, it seems like. And there will be multiple opponents on each maze that you're on. There will be some cosmetic customization, so you can customize your Pac-Man so that you won't lose track of who your Pac-Man is on the maze, in the maze with other players. So that's pretty cool. I just wish it wasn't a Stadia exclusive. To me, right now, that's a stupid idea.
Oh yeah. I mean, think about how many people has PS4 and
the Switch.
As well,
This would be perfect
Switch.
as another Switch Battle Royale, Casey.
Exactly. I mean that I totally agree. I mean, you know how much I love my Switch.
What's up, TSS? Glad you can join us, even though we're going up against Joe Cronin's show. Actually, I don't even know if he's live yet, but usually the 10 p.m. time slot is Throwdown, so we're actually going up against him tonight. But yeah, so that's the Pac-Man thing. I think it would be another good Switch game. It could have been something. Maybe Nintendo will pick it up and add it to their, add it as a free download for their Nintendo Online subscription thing. That could be something that happens maybe next year, early next year or sometime. That's still possible. But for right now, being a Stadia exclusive is retarded.
Yeah, they gotta change that. That's just stupid they're doing that. But I mean, I don't mind paying $20, but it'd be best if it was free on the Switch.
Oh, Drew put that video up. What did he start it at 9 p.m.? I think he was going to start it at 9 p.m. I guess that's the winner of his poll that he did yesterday. Drew's got a premiere up of an older episode of Derailed from earlier this year that he edited and is re-airing it.
Oh, really?
So, but yeah, man. So that's the Pac-Man news. Really quick, Super Mario Bros. 35. The game has been out for just under 3 weeks now. I don't know how recently you've played it, Casey, but I've actually played it earlier today because, Casey, L is real. Again, in Super Mario Bros. 35, you can now play as Luigi. It has been discovered, and the way to do it kind of sucks. It's going to take a little while, but if this is, in fact, the proven way to do it, so far I think it is because I've done some of the steps to get to play as Luigi, and it has not worked for me. So it has been discovered this morning, and it's made its rounds all over Twitter, all over YouTube already, and some of the gaming websites. Luigi has been found in Mario 35. What you have to do is, at first it was thought that you needed to be level 100 or higher, which then gives you a star level. So once you reach level 100, you get you go back to level 1, but then you have a star next to your number, which I do now. I'm level 5 star. So I reached over 100, and when you load in a game, you're supposed to hold in the L button on your Switch controller. And when the game loads in, you'll play as Luigi instead of Mario. That didn't work. What you actually need to do is, it doesn't matter what your level is, so you can actually do this, Casey, at some point. It doesn't matter what your gamer level is in Super Mario Bros. 35. You have to have all 32 stages selectable when you go into 35 player battle. So you have to have had played on every stage at least once and unlocked them. When you select a stage, you have to hold down the L button, and for an added measure, I would hold down the L button anyway during the loading screen until the match starts. There is video proof that Luigi is playable. I'm not going to show it, of course, for copyright reasons, but I thought that was a little really cool Easter egg that people discovered today.
Interesting. I'm hoping it's real, but because a lot of times you know how people, especially nowadays, can fake this shit.
Yeah, but it's definitely confirmed real, because I don't know how you can hack Super Mario 35. Especially when people have actually recorded themselves with face cam on YouTube, starting a match as Luigi and not Mario. So
I did not hear about this. I mean, usually I'll either play both Fortnite and Mario 35, but today I only played some Fortnite when I was in the tub.
So I don't know if you probably don't even have all 32 stages on Mario 35 unlocked yet. I'm only missing 3. I'm missing 7, 3, 8, 2, and 8, 4. So once I get those last 3 levels unlocked, I'm going to try again to play as Luigi, and then I'll know for sure if this is real or not. But as far as I'm concerned, and from what I've seen already going around YouTube and Twitter, L is real. L is real in 2020 for the second time, this time in Super Mario Bros. 35 as the hidden Easter egg, which pretty cool stuff.
But that's new. That's news to me. I didn't hear about this at all. And usually game news, especially Nintendo related, I'd hear about it too.
I woke up today and the first thing I did was I turned on YouTube and I saw a video by Game Explain, and that's how I found out about it. And then I went on the game and I was level 99. I'm like, okay, well, if you have to be a star level, I'm only 1 level away. Let me play a few games to get up to level 100, which is a star level. And I did that. Like I said, I'm 5 star, but I can't do it because apparently now you need all 32 stages unlocked. Because I did try, like I said, to launch a game as Luigi with the previously specified requirements, and it didn't work. So once I get those 3 stages again unlocked, once I get them unlocked, I will try it again, and I will post a video. I will post a Luigi run on my YouTube channel when that time comes. And one more piece of news, Casey, before we get to this tier list. The Game Awards 2020, the date has been announced. The live stream will take place from 3 locations this year.
Oh my god!
It will take place from, I believe. Let me pull up the Twitter. I want to say it's Vegas, but I think it's Los Angeles. I know it's London, and I believe the 3rd location is Tokyo. Let me see.
I think that's going to be crazy. I mean, trying to do that nowadays. I mean, the The only time I hear anyone ever did anything in 3 locations was the WWF with WrestleMania 2, and they had a horrible time trying to link them all together.
Yeah, well, because, in the COVID era we are in, each location is probably going to have, a very limited audience, which is probably why they did it this way. So yes, the 3 live locations will be Los Angeles, California, London, England, in the UK, and Tokyo, Japan. The date. Oh, let me silence this. The date is December 10th, which is a Thursday. 2 weeks before Christmas.
Oh shit!
Actually, no, yeah. December 10th. Yep, I was right. December 10th. It is 2 weeks.
What's going on over there? I hear a bunch of noise.
Yeah, my dog's downstairs going ape shit over something. I have no clue. Jesus Christ. But, I'm looking forward to it. Casey, what I wanted to do... you knocked your camera over. There it goes. Oh, it fell down.
There we go. When you get done, before we move on, I don't know if you saw my pickups from yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I was going to show them off a little bit.
I mean, you can. You still can if you want. But, Casey, with the Game Awards, I wanted to know if you'd be in on this with me. During the Game Awards, I live stream the awards show because that is a copyright-free show. Jeff Keighley and everyone who runs it allows people to stream it on their own channels and do like live reactions to the awards and the world premieres and stuff. So I wanted to do a predictions. I wanted to do a predictions video with you where we go through all the awards and all the nominees and we pick who we want to win. And then we pick who we think is going to win. And then during the show itself, I'm going to live stream the show. And, me and you, or, if you can't be there, I'm going to do it regardless. But if you're with me, we're gonna live react to the entire show.
What day and what time is it?
It's December 10th, which is a Thursday, so it's a little less than 2 months away.
Okay.
It is a Thursday. Start time is usually 8 p.m. Eastern time, so that'd be 7 p.m. for you. And the show is usually 2.5 hours. So
I don't see why not. I mean, I'm gonna want to watch it anyway, so it sounds like fun if you ask me.
Yeah, and we could have people live reacting. We'll have chat going. I did this by myself last year, Casey, and I had over 200 people watching.
Oh, no shit.
I had a big fucking chat that night, man. People were going nuts.
I honestly, out of all the award shows, this is the one I care about. I mean, shit, like, especially back in, I know this is only 3 years ago, but during 2017 when Mario Odyssey and Zelda was up for the running.
Yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah,
they even had the actress Kate Higgins, who actually sung the Super Mario Odyssey theme song. They actually had her on the stage doing the song. That was fantastic.
Oh yeah, the whole revealing thing, like with the whole music thing behind it, was.
Yeah, they had the orchestra, and every game they revealed, the orchestra would change they would change the music immediately on the fly, and play the main theme of whatever nominee they were going over. And then when it came, they saved Mario Odyssey for last because they had the actress come out and sing the song, and it was great.
I was afraid when that first came out. See, the Zelda Breath of the Wild came out in March, so I mean, shit. When the Switch came out, people were like, "Well, the Switch is a Zelda machine." That's what they called it. It was the Zelda machine.
That's because at that time, Zelda was the biggest game there was. for the
It was the
system.
best game that was on there.
And then Mario Odyssey came out the month, at the end of October,
Yeah,
and
pretty
it was
much had.
already nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, Mario's gonna come in and swoop in and win it. Only been on the market for like a month.
I remember that year. It was what? It was Breath of the Wild. It was Mario Odyssey. I think it was God of War, and was it
Yeah,
The Witcher? Was it The Witcher
no,
3?
no, well, no, it wasn't God of War because God of War won the year after.
Oh, okay. But I think it
Right,
was The Witcher 3. I don't remember
it
what other
had.
game it could have been, and yeah,
I know.
I knew that out of all four of them, it was going to be Mario or Zelda.
Oh, they all. I know one of them was the Horizon Zero Dawn,
Right. Okay.
and I was
That's the one I was thinking of.
because I was like, oh, that's gonna win because it's a PlayStation. They're not gonna give Nintendo its honor.
Nintendo ran away with the award show that year. They won the most awards.
Well, see, the thing is, you know, the other year or so ago with Red Dead uh,
Red Dead
Part
Redemption
2,
2, yeah.
it was running all the honors, and then at the very end, and is going up for it. I was like, it's going to win that too. And then God of War, I was like, hey, at least it wasn't Red Dead. I mean, I'm fine with Red Dead winning some awards, but when it wipes out the whole show, to me,
Yeah,
makes.
Red Dead that year ran the table, and God of War was like, no, bad game. You're not winning all the awards. Bad.
Oh, and like God of War was a beautiful game. That makes me. I can't. Hopefully, I'll get a PS5 so I can play the next God of War.
Yeah, dude, I'm hoping to get mine on launch day. I just don't know how I'm going to. And if not, Black Friday. I mean, Sony and Xbox are going to have some consoles ready for that day because that's the biggest shopping day of the year. And you can bet your ass they're not going to want to miss out on that money train.
No, I mean it sucks though. I mean, I want to get one, but it just sucks because I'm trying to get a pre-order on it.
Better
But,
save your money.
well, the thing
It's
is,
only a couple
I
of weeks
think
away.
I think if you can do payments on it though, and I kind of like that. I don't want to be like, oh, here's $500. I'm like,
Well, yeah, if you go through GameStop, I don't think they're taking any more pre-orders anymore.
oh, there's some like Best Buy. I think you can do, or actually, I think you go on certain sites that you can do payments.
As
So,
far as I know, Best Buy did it online only this year. And when you do any pre-order online, you have to pay it all at once.
hmm,
But yeah, speaking of GameStop, actually, I did find one more announcement here. Something, small, minuscule. For the first time in like 3 years or so, GameStop will be closed on Thanksgiving. GameStop employees will finally get to be able to enjoy their day with their family, enjoy the holiday, get drunk, watch football, eat until they puke, and they don't have to worry about assholes with big wallets looking to spend a lot of money.
well, the thing is, thanks to the COVID, that's why. I mean, plus a lot of people is not going to be doing that during Thanksgiving.
So, whatever GameStop will have on Black Friday, which we will talk about when the Black Friday sales for every store is revealed, which should be in about a month from now. We'll see
Yeah.
how things go. What GameStop's going to do, but their sale will start actually on Friday instead of Thanksgiving Day, which in previous years has been labeled Brown Thursday.
Brown Thursday.
Yeah, so as far as I know, that's the only store as of right now that announced that it'll be closed and will not be running their Black Friday sale on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, for me, what I'll probably be doing is that there's these stores um, in my area called Vintage Stock, and they'll do a bunch of buy two get one free deal all the time.
I'm expecting you to have a big pickups video that weekend, Casey.
Well,
it better be a fucking two-parter or I'm going to be disappointed.
Well, usually that when I do those, what sucks is a lot of times when they do those sales, I can't do them at the beginning, and I feel a lot of times people already get all the good shit.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna do the sales, you have to be there. Like, you have to be ready and raring to go. If you wait until even the middle of the day, you know all the people that are gonna be out specifically for those sales. You know, they're gonna be out in the morning, and then everyone else, you know, that doesn't care as much will be out later in the day. But if you wait until even the middle of the day, yeah, you're pretty much going to miss most of the good stuff. You probably won't have much left of the sale items.
That's why a lot of times when I know they're going to have the sales, especially like that, I would go and kind of see what they have, so I can at least kind of have a game plan.
Right.
I mean,
that's why I said we're gonna go over all of that. What is Walmart gonna have? Target, GameStop, Best Buy, you know, and then you could look through, you know, whatever your local stores are gonna have, and I'll look whatever my local stores are gonna have, and we're gonna go over it. You know, we'll go over all of it once all the sales are announced and stuff. It's gonna be a good time. But anyways, Casey, you did a pickups video yesterday. You wanted to show again real quick exactly what games you got.
Actually, well, I was more wanting to show off the marquees. My girlfriend picked up these other ones. Went to a flea market, and they had a bunch of these metal signs, metal arcade marquees, and I hung the ones that she already. Son of a bitch!
I see the X-Men one, the Tetris one. I see those.
They got Tempest and Double Dragon 2.
Yep.
And then
got a Pepsi can just sitting there.
Yeah, it's good. I'm trying to switch it over. My phone keeps wanting to do it. So the very next day, it's like I had to go get more, and these are $10 a pop.
Wow.
And not only that, they have more. And I want to go back, so I'm gonna start with the one not as it's still good, but out of the three, I want to start with the less coolest. So you got Space Invaders.
Hey, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a little bit. I had a set plan which game marquees I was going to take, and I was about to leave. And I was like, you know what? I kind of wanted something different. And then picked up Street Fighter 2.
I think that one could have been designed a little better, but the logo part of it's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then, actually, that was one of the ones that I kind of swapped at the very end, because I was like, I mean, I do want Galaga, but let's see. And then I was like, oh, yes, pick up Street Fighter. Why not? And then Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, my God, Casey. Oh, my God. Now that you pulled that one out, I need one. I need one of those. Motherfucker.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, like I said, these are $10 a pop.
God damn! If you ever come across another one of those, you gotta let me know.
Well, a bunch of these they do have duplicates. The only ones they didn't have duplicates, I believe, was the Mortal Kombat 2, the Street Fighter 2, the X-Men, and Double Dragon 2. But the rest of those, they had duplicates.
And those look
So,
pretty nice for replica marquees.
oh yeah, for $10 pop, and they're metal too. So, uh, but they easily scratch. But I like how they kind of shrink it down a little bit, and uh, it gives these other posters run for their money. I mean, these are just those other ones are posters. Well, these are metal signs.
So that were
But
those three the only ones you had, or any new? The only new ones you had?
those are the three that I picked up from yesterday.
Oh, okay. You
So,
didn't have any new games come in the mail or anything? You normally have something coming in, it seems like, every day.
I know, but no, actually, the last I hadn't got anything on eBay, bid on anything. The only thing I'm waiting for to come in is for the CDI, but it's the digital video cartridge, so I can watch VCDs movies.
Oh, okay. I thought you had one of those already, though.
No, this one didn't have it, so I had to order one on eBay. So I'm waiting. They don't have a tracking on it either, and it's across the pond, so it could take up to like a month and a half or so. Hopefully, it gets here soon.
Yeah, man. TSS says the Mortal Kombat one looks sick.
Oh yeah, I knew that's one of the ones I had to pick up immediately after went back and saw it. I was like, oh, I kind of, and there's still some good ones like I said, they had Galaga, Galaxian, Popeye, Dig Dug.
Oh, Dig Dug. You know what? I don't know too much about Atari, but Dig Dug's one of my favorite Atari games.
And it had a bunch of different other games. And what's funny, they had one fake game in there. They had Fix It Felix Jr. on there. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. I mean, it's not the only version of that is people made a hack version of that game. And do you know what I'm talking about?
No, the name sounds familiar, but I'm not exactly sure.
It's from Wreck-It Ralph,
Oh, okay.
where the arcade is called Fix It Felix Jr. It the arcade marquee kind of looks like from Nintendo. It kind of looks like the Donkey Kong marquee,
Oh, okay.
but it's almost like, oh, and there's another one called Crazy Climbers, but
That's supposed to be like Ice Climbers?
well, it's kind of like you go up a wall, you kind of go from window to window or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A little different from what I was thinking of. But Casey, let's turn our attention now to that tier list. This is going to take a little while.
Yeah, we might have to split this up. Like,
I think we'll be all right. I mean, it looks like a lot here, but I think we'll get through them pretty quickly. Quick enough,
Okay.
anyways. So, Casey, if you're looking at the screen here, looks like we got the TurboGrafx 16, Sega Genesis. I don't know why they split up the Famicom and Super Famicom with the Super Nintendo and the NES.
Oh,
They split them up. I don't understand why. Then
yeah.
it looks like the Philips CDI. I have no idea what this blue and yellow thing is.
I think that's that looks like the Sega Pitco.
Looks like we have, was that the, this one here, is this the Panasonic 3DO?
Yeah.
Atari Jaguar, Sega CD, PlayStation 1, the Magnavox Odyssey, I believe that's what that is.
Yes.
I have no idea what this white one over here is. Underneath the TurboGrafx and next to the N64.
Oh, that's the Apple Pippin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's from what I understand, that's like the biggest piece of shit. But Nintendo
That's
64, we have the Sega Genesis, I'm sorry. The Genesis is here. This is the Dreamcast, motherfuckers. PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox 360, PS3, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Wii flopped. Atari,
we flopped.
I imagine this is the 2600, the Atari 2600.
Yeah.
This one here, the Xbox. No, I'm sorry. This is the Xbox One, PlayStation
That's
4.
the PS4.
Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and here we go with the handhelds. Game Boy, Game Gear. As you see, no Game Boy Color. Virtual Boy. I imagine this is the Atari Lynx. This one I think is a Neo Geo handheld. I don't know.
No, actually, I think the one right beside that one, it looks like the Neo Geo Pocket.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought. This was like a Neo Geo one at the very least.
Yeah, I was going to say
Advanced.
it kind of looked like the Sega Nomad for a second as well.
So we got the Game Boy Advance. We got the Nokia N-Gage, which was a phone / handheld console. I have no idea what this thing here is. This brown-looking turd thing.
Oh, are you talking about the one with the stripes on it?
Yeah.
That's the television.
Okay, the television. See, I don't know some of this stuff. We got the Nintendo DS / DS Lite, PlayStation Portable, PSP, Nintendo 3DS / new 3DS, PlayStation Vita. We even got the Ouya on here for whatever reason. I think this is the Game & Watch, the precursor to
the
any
Game
handheld.
Watch.
This
I
one,
can't wait for. I can't wait for that to come out again.
I don't know what this is. This one is the Atari 5200, I believe. Of course,
the one to the left of it is the ColecoVision.
Okay. And of course, we got the Famicom and the NES. Again, I don't know why they separated them because this is the Japanese model of the NES. The same thing. I think I got this one right, saying that this one next to the Famicom was the Atari 5200.
Yes.
So was this one here the next
what
to
the? No, that's the Atari 7800.
Okay, I know the 5200's on here though, right?
Yeah, that's the 5200 to the left of the Famicom.
Okay, that's what I thought. And this one is the 7800.
Yes.
Okay, and then at the very bottom, last but certainly not least, is the Sega Master System. Alright, so the tiers go as follows. S tier, which is the best you can get. The tier has like a lot of very, very good games. It was a very popular console. A lot of people loved it. Pretty much you think it was perfect and probably could not have been any better than it was.
Yeah.
A tier is really good, close to perfect, but not quite. Had some stinkers, had some problems, but could have been, was great. Had a lot of popularity. Had a lot of great games.
Yeah.
Almost perfect, but not quite. B tier is average. Good console, good games, but could have been better overall.
Exactly.
C tier is rather forgettable.
No, I would say C is below average.
Right, yeah. Below average, rather, could be, forgettable. Could have certainly been better. Could have used more good games than it got. And D tier, D just stands for dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire.
Absolute failures of the video game industry.
These are going to be debatable. I mean, it's going to be hard. I think we could do without doing some of the ones like the Super Famicom because the Famicom.
Yeah, the Famicom and the Super Famicom, I wasn't even going to rate those because, this is, it's just a Japanese counterpart.
Exactly.
It's the same console, it just looks different.
Yeah, it's just there's no point. So
with this tier list, Casey, with all these consoles, whoever bought an Ouya, I never even fucking heard of it, honestly, until it was already canceled. So
no, isn't that Ouija? Like the Ouija board? I think that's not how you spell the Ouya.
I always heard it pronounced as Oya, so that's what I'm going with.
I know what he's talking about, but I don't think that's how you spell the Oya, because I think that's how you spell like the Ouija board.
Yeah, I believe that is. I think the Oya was what? Ouya or something like that?
Yeah, it was something like that.
But hey, we knew what he was talking about. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So,
who cares?
with this massive list, where do you want to start?
Let's start from the top.
All right. TurboGrafx 16 it is then. Had a few, some good games. I don't know too much about the console. I never owned one myself. You have one, I believe. What do you think of it? What are the games you think of that are on it? I hear it's got the definitive edition of Street Fighter 2 as well, I believe, right?
No, this one you're thinking about that's the 3DO had the awesome version of Street Fighter 2. TurboGrafx, actually the CD version had Street Fighter 1, but they called it Fighting Street.
Yeah, they released they reversed the title for whatever reason.
Yeah, and but honestly, I'd probably put it B, because the problem is that during that time frame you had the Genesis out or coming out by that time frame, and then you had the Super Nintendo and shit. Even during that time frame, I never heard of TurboGrafx until long while later. I mean, it has a bunch of shooters. If you like shooter games, then you would probably rate this higher, A or maybe even S if you love shooters.
But S tier, that might be pushing it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you some people really love shooter games, so I mean that was their thing. Like how Neo Geo was majorly just a fighting system.
You know what? The Neo Geo's not on here, is it? Besides the handheld, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it. So that's okay. We can even throw a few of them if this list is not that as long. Maybe I can look back and see if I have a couple that I can throw in there too.
All right, so you want to give the TurboGrafx 16 a B? So
yeah, I give it a B.
Let's move on to the Sega Genesis. Now, I wasn't a Sega kid growing up initially. I got one for Christmas in 1995, bundled with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I definitely played more Nintendo than Sega, that's for sure. It was one of the first consoles to have add-on support with the 32X and the CD add-on. It had some really great games. It had the Hidden Gem, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist. It had the Sonic games. It had some pretty good racing games as well. It also had Streets of Rage. Those games were awesome. Golden Axe was alright,
Yeah, it's alright.
It had Altered Beast, which I know a lot of people like, some don't. I'm in the crowd that doesn't like Altered Beast because I think it's too slow.
I think I'm in the crowd that kind of like it.
Other good games. What other good games are on there? They had some good X-Men and Spider-Man games, right? They had X-Men.
Oh, the X-Men game I liked was the one that I came with that I got as a child. Gosh, I can't see it, but I know one of the good games is the Toe Jam and Earl games.
Right, yeah, Toe Jam and Earl, and the Sega Channel. We can't forget about that.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, Sega actually wasn't the first people who did add-ons. I mean, Nintendo wasn't even the first one who did it either. I mean, it goes all the way back to the Intellivision and the ColecoVision.
Really?
They both
That's far back, huh?
Yeah, well, because the ColecoVision, I guess I heard about the television, they had an add-on where you can plug it into their slots and you can play Atari 2600 games. as
All right.
well.
So Casey, I'm thinking about A tier for the Sega. Not only
I'm
that, but let's not forget Sega, with because of Sonic, managed to take Nintendo, loosen
mhm.
that stranglehold Nintendo had on the gaming industry for a little while.
I I definitely agree. I'd give it about an A. It's a toss up for me between S and an A because
I was thinking between A and B, but I think it deserves more of an A because
definitely I wouldn't.
it had the Sega Channel, dude. I fucking loved the Sega Channel back
Oh,
in the
I had a
day.
Sega channel.
It had
It's so
that. It
cool.
had great games. You know what? Sonic beat Mario for quite a while.
Yeah.
In the gaming, the console wars and stuff.
There's certain people don't know. Like I think I told a few people about the Sega Channel and they never heard of it. I'm like, I can understand, but it blew their mind. So yeah, I enjoyed the Sega Channel.
TSS goes, Casey, who gives a shit? The console was ass anyway. Talking about the NES.
Yeah, I saw
Oh
that.
shit! All right, so here's
And,
another one that can go either way. The SNES, man. I'm biased towards the SNES. I grew up with this console along with the NES. I was a
mhm,
Nintendo kid growing up. My very first game was Super Mario Brothers. On the NES. Obviously then I went into Super Mario World, Donkey
mhm.
Kong Country. My very first RPG, Final Fantasy like game was on the SNES. I took that thing anywhere and everywhere when we went on vacation. I just love this console to death, man. I'm a little biased, but what were some of your favorite games on the console?
Oh, Super Nintendo. Gosh, I mean, obviously Super Mario World. Oh gosh, right off the bat, I say Mario Kart.
Right, Mario
Um,
Kart got its start on the SNES. That's right.
yeah, Donkey Kong Country. Gosh, it's hard to figure, but see, during that time frame, I got the Sega Genesis about in 1990, give or take, either 1990 or 89, give or around there, and it was like 92, 93. I think it was more 92 that I personally had to buy the Super Nintendo.
I'll put it this way, man. I played Mortal Kombat a lot on the Super Nintendo. One of my other
See the
favorite games was Turtles in Time, Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles in
Turtles
Time,
4.
that's a good one. I
Uh,
think certain games, I don't think which. I mean, you could say, yeah, I played this on this system, but when they're multi-plat, like, uh, let's say, like, NBA Jam, I mean, that's on both systems.
right.
But,
So I'm thinking. See, I'm biased, so my bias wants to put it in S tier, as I think the SNES to me is a perfect system. It had a lot of great games. It has a lot of memorable games. It got a classic mini console. So did the
I,
Sega Genesis, but
I'm in more in the A tier, so it's up to you.
you say
Uh,
A tier. I'm leaning towards S tier. What does TSS think about the SNES?
that's what I was thinking too. Let's say he's our tiebreaker.
Should we so TSS?
Oh,
SNES is
there.
an S tier. Alrighty, he
Uh,
sides with me.
all right.
We're putting
Hopefully
you.
he's okay being the tiebreaker.
Yeah, we just randomly appointed him the tiebreaker. Casey, this one's fresh in your mind. It's the Philips CDI. I don't know dildo shit about this console, so this
Well,
one's all on you.
you can automatically put it in the D because it's obviously a horrible system.
D tier? You want D tier for
Yeah,
this console, even though you've been
yeah.
having a bit of fun with it?
Because I know how horrible it is. I mean,
Alright, D tier it is. Dumpster fire. Trash.
yeah. Yeah, it definitely deserves it because even if you're playing like Mario, probably the best game on there is Tetris, and it's not even the best version of Tetris. Get this shit. You're playing Tetris. It's cool to have some motion, some cool graphics in the background. They have like waterfall coming down and something like that, and you have nice calming music. But after like 10 or 11 lines, they have levels. They completely stop the gameplay, change the music and screen, and not only that, Tetris will be on one side of the freaking the Tetris gameplay area is in one spot, and when the next level, it's over in another spot.
So it's a bit of a mess, it sounds like.
Oh, it's a mess. So, and I would consider that probably as one of the best games. I mean, they do have games like Space Ace, Mad Dog McGree. Even though I don't have that one, I want to get that one. I like getting Mad Dog McGree 1 and 2. And, Dragon's Lair. But I think with Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, and a bunch of these, I have to have that digital video cartridge to play those games.
Not only that, but there was a lot of software released on this Philips CDI that were for educational purposes. That were teased as, they were labeled as games, but they're really not. Like, some of the ones that you got, like that science or whatever the hell that was, that one encyclopedia that you got.
Oh, yeah. I got it 3 times.
Jesus Christ, why 3?
Well, because I think one came with the system when I bought it. Then a couple more times because it came in a couple lots. But hold on, before we move on, let me run to the game room and get the 2 controllers that I got for it. So give me 2 seconds.
Right.
I'll be right back.
So we are 4 systems in so far. We got plenty to go. And we're not even an hour in. We're doing pretty good so far tonight, I think. Casey's going to get a couple of controllers that he wants to show us for the CDI. The only CDI information that I know is from the Angry Video Game Nerd, and he does exaggerate quite a bit in his videos, so you can't even take him seriously. But I do have a bit of knowledge, a very little bit of knowledge on some of that stuff. Excuse me, Jesus. Casey's farting on stream and I'm burping on stream. See what you do to me?
Oh, what, they talk about how I farted on Joe's show last night?
Dude, I just burped my ass off.
Alright, so let me show you the one that came with mine. This is like a TV remote with a joystick. So this is what I call the TV remote control for the CDI. Imagine playing freaking Tetris or Hotel Mario or the Zelda games. You have to use the action buttons on either side, like either here or the one on the bottom, then you move it around.
Reminds me of having to use a Wii remote.
Oh, the Wii remote makes this makes the Wii remote like just a pile of gold, while this is a pile of shit. And then this one just came in the other day. If you're going to play any games at all, you had to at least get one of the game controllers, and they're extremely expensive. While this one, this is more like the Sega Genesis looking, especially with the action buttons kind of angle. But actually has good, huge grips right here when you're playing on it, so it's actually pretty cool. And the length.
That's the standard controller too, right?
No, the standard's the one I just showed you.
Really? Because in the picture,
yeah,
on the tier list, it shows that controller you got in your hand right now.
No,
with the console.
No, the one I can't showed you. No, you had to buy this separately.
Wow.
Dude, this freaking cord goes on, and it looks like the plug-in is like a S cable plug-in, S video cable plug-in. But yeah, this is the Sega. No, the Philips CDI is just dumpster fire, but I like it because it's weird. That's why a lot of these systems that I have I like, because they're oddball.
So next up on the list, if you think this is the Sega Pico, I don't know
Yeah,
what it is.
Yeah, it's the Sega Pico.
I don't know anything about it other than the fact that it's like something for kids. It's like a learning, one of those kind of like the V Smile.
Pretty much, this is exactly what it is.
I'm not gonna say it's D tier because it does help kids. It did help kids learn. It's a learning tool for kids, but I'm gonna put it in C tier.
I'm gonna say D, because if it's gonna have entertainment, especially for us, it deserves to be in D tier. But
it's not. Yeah, but this wasn't made for the older age. This was made for. This was made probably for like kindergarten age, kids.
Yeah, true. Good point.
That's what I'm saying. I would say C tier because it did help those kinds of kids, back in the day, for those who had it. I would say it's forgettable in my opinion.
Okay, I'm alright with that. Because it's horrible. I mean, I hadn't tried it out. I need to try it, but like you said, it's definitely for kids. Because what it plays is natural, like a freaking
It had that Sonic kids game thing on there, right? Yeah, you actually have that.
Yeah, it has like a book. It has a cartoon book, and on the bottom is a cartridge. So the way you play it is when you open the pages. So it's definitely a horrible system.
Next up, we have the Panasonic 3DO. This thing was a hodgepodge of shit. Let me tell you. It had Road Rash, and Road Rash is awesome. I got my consoles mixed up. It did have the definitive port of Street Fighter 2, which was the best port of the game. It was, on the other hand, very expensive, which is why hardly anybody even had one.
Exactly.
You have the Gold Star, right? Which is also a 3DO, right?
Yeah, I do have the Gold Star version.
And there wasn't Tempest 2000 on the 3DO as well, or was that just a Jaguar game?
That is a Jaguar game, but now saying that, I don't see it on there. I mean, I can point out the games I do have. It's kind of like a better version of the CDI, because it has some good games like Gex.
Yeah, Gex. I loved Gex. Yes, Gex. Absolutely.
And like you said, didn't you say Road Rash?
Yeah. Yep. It had Road Rash.
And it has a bunch of some educational stuff. Like it has 20th Century Video Almanac.
The developers also were bragging that video games will never be better than the 3DO, right? Weren't they saying that back in the day? And
well, they were pretty much still in the idea of what the Sega Genesis is like. This is made for adults, and that's how I kind of felt like the PlayStation back in the day, or at least PS1. I thought PS1 was supposed to be for the adults, while like N64 was for my age at the time frame.
So I'm leaning in either B tier or C tier, because of how expensive it was, and because it had a few good games, but it was also very expensive, so not many people even were aware of it. There are also multiple variations of it made by different companies. It's not a dumpster fire by any means. It
No,
just
I agree. I said it's a better version of the CDI. The only thing I would give the CDI over that is that even though you had to have the add-ons to watch movies,
it was a hell of a lot cheaper.
no, I think they're priced the same.
Really? I know
Yeah.
the 3DO was $700. I don't think the CDI.
Yeah,
was
that's what I'm
that much.
saying. CDI was that much too.
Wow, shit.
But
So I'm leaning towards average or forgettable. You know, the price
yeah,
point.
I was gonna say C, but if you like it more,
I'm comfortable with C tier if that's what you think. I'm comfortable with C
and
tier because of the
and,
price, and it
and
didn't have many games to begin with. You know,
it looks like TSS agrees being on the C tier as well.
C tier because I hate or
Yeah.
love it.
Well,
You know
it
what?
says that he
Hey, you
does.
know what, Casey? Actually, no. It deserves to be on the S tier because it had plumbers don't wear ties.
Oh my god! I need to get a laptop, or at least get the one I had running, so I can get burn games for the certain games, like for the 3DO, and certain games for the CDI, like TSS was saying about Mario's Wacky Worlds. I want to get that prototype. So,
Even though there's really virtually nothing to do in it.
and then also I wouldn't mind to burn a copy of Zelda Adventures, because I heard that's actually the best version on CDI.
Next up, we have the Atari Jaguar, the quote-unquote first 64-bit console.
Yeah.
What do you think about this
64.
one?
Oh, I actually really like the Jaguar. It has a bunch of good games.
It had
I'd say
Bubsy.
that was okay.
It had Tempest 2000.
Yeah, Tempest 2000 was good. I mean,
It had Cybermorph with that. Where did you learn to fly, bitch?
that's not as. The nerd did that a little bit more often. He did that on purpose. You can
Of
fly
course he
around.
did.
Hold on. Let me go over to my where I keep them. Try and switch it over. Goddamn phone. He's like, oh, you want to put this against your head? There we go. Because I keep all my Atari stuff almost together, except hit Atari games here.
Right.
Here's my Jaguar games, and I have my end labels on there. Tempest is great. Doom is good.
Doom, I forgot it had Doom.
Yeah, it has Doom. Dragon, this one's I don't remember playing this one. I believe iWar could be a rest. Oh no, it's some kind of I don't remember what's that about. I love my theme park. Love theme park games. Zool 2 is a good game.
I heard that was the best game for that system, actually.
Oh no, Tempest was probably one of the best. I really love Wolfenstein 3D on it. Aliens vs. Predators, good game. This is a weird game. Is this the Attack of the Mutant Penguins? That's a weird game.
I remember that one. Didn't AVGN reviewed that one, right? I think
Yeah, he did. Then Brutal Football. That's a good game. And then you get some Defender 2000 is good. Bugsby's not that bad, but that's a 16-bit game.
On a 64-bit supposed
Yeah.
console.
Double Dragon 5. I mean, that a bunch of these are definitely games that are 16-bit games. So I mean, yeah, they say they're 32-bit, but they're no, they say they're 64-bit, but they're more 32 bits. And
Right. So I'm thinking B tier for the Atari, for the Jaguar.
oh,
Although it did have the
oh,
Jaguar toilet add on.
Jaguar toilet. Yeah, I'd go with B. That's why I was kind of shooting. That's why I was listing all those, because I was trying to at least get it aimed at about B tier.
So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. B tier. It had some good games, had a lot of forgettable games. Could have been better graphically since it was being touted as a 64-bit console, and we all know the N64 looked better than the Jaguar's graphics did.
Well, the thing is, at that time frame, it came out way before the PlayStation and N64, and while people were still making games for 16-bit systems. So it was easier for them to port 16-bit games. It's kind of like nowadays where, oh, well, this new retro-looking game is on every game system on all the modern systems. But, I mean, it's not graphically as powered. I mean, so I'm like, it doesn't really need to be... all games had to be 64 bits, but you definitely should have some games toting. This uses the full power of the Jaguar.
Speaking of full power, this console certainly didn't use its full power. The Sega Saturn. Got embarrassed by PlayStation at E3 that year with the pricing war that they had. Never had its own definitive Sonic game. It only had ports of older Sonic games.
Yeah.
Was more, I think it was a $400 console, and then like the PlayStation CEO came out, and he just like $299 and just fucking dropped the mic and walked away.
Exactly. The thing is, you can't. People shit on about how the Saturn did its release. I actually kind of like the idea. It's like, it's coming out today.
Yeah, that was right. That was the Saturn, right? When Sega just dropped the console onto the fucking store shelves, and people were like, "Wait a minute, what is this? We have this now?"
To me, I'd be like, "Hey, that's awesome." I'm like, some people use that against it. I can understand, like, the stores and the people who made the games got a little pissed off. But as the customer, I'd be like, it's out?
Yeah, on the other hand, it pissed off, I know it pissed off some store managers, like, they were not prepared to sell this thing. Well, meanwhile, it ended up in their inventory and they didn't know shit about it.
Well, it's because they didn't have it, There's a ton of them didn't have it, while certain select retailers had it.
Well, this console also had some pretty good games, even without Sonic. It had Street Fighter versus X-Men, I believe that was one of them. It had a Virtua Fighter game. It had Virtua Racing. It had... was that the first console that had the Daytona USA racing game? The one that had that chime at the end that goes, "Game over, yeah!"
Yeah. Daytona!
I'm thinking easy B tier for this one. I don't think it deserves any more or any less than that.
I agree. There's some people probably would push her up to A. I mean, God, my late wife, she probably would almost made it an S tier. Because, dude, she was right on it when she's like, we need to go for the Sega Saturn, before I knew about it's going to be pricey. Well, with all the games,
TSS says he agrees with B tier. He says one of his favorite games on the Saturn was Panzer Dragoon, and he said Sega botched the system when they announced the console was available right away. So he doesn't agree with with how they did it, which I'm more inclined to agree. I think if they had a set release date like it is nowadays and how it's pretty much always been, because you're not going to get as many sales if people don't know it's out, At the same time, though, it's a good way to stop all the scalpers. Casey? Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Still there, Casey? I can't hear a thing. That's not good. Yeah, hold on, Casey. I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. Oh, don't tell me my headphones just completely shit out on me. Yeah, I think my headset just shit the bed. That's not good. That is very not good. Oh, no. See something here. Casey. Yeah, oh no, dude. I think my sound card just shit the bed. I can't hear you. I can't hear anything. I even unplugged my headset. I'm using my speaker right now and I can't hear anything. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is not good. Hold on, let me stop the screen share. I can't believe this happened. Oh, fuck. This hardware and sound of this motherfucker. Give me a moment. I'm trying to work this out. I don't know what happened. This is not good. Audio devices. Okay. This might be what I want. Speaker. Alright. Maybe I can hear you now? No, apparently not. That's the wrong speaker, that's why. Okay, so my speaker's enabled, nothing is working. That's bad. No, hold on, Casey. I'm going to hang up the call and I'm going to restart it and see what happens.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, that didn't work either.
Ah, fuck.
I have audio in my headphones, but I don't know.
I can hear you.
Oh,
though.
there we go. Holy shit. Okay. I know you were able to hear me, but like literally, I heard like a little buzz in my headphones, and then the sound just stopped.
I was like, because I could hear you the whole time.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't my mic, it was my headset. To hear you, I couldn't hear shit. So I'm like, okay, this isn't good. I unplugged that. I plugged in my speaker. I wasn't getting sound through my speaker at all either. I'm like, don't tell me my sound card just blew up on me.
I was like, that's what I was trying to say. I was like, I can hear you.
Yeah, it wasn't the microphone. It was my freaking headset. It's fucking shit the bed on me. But anyways, let's get back to this list now. We're almost halfway through. Sony PlayStation. A lot of memorable games. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Final Fantasy went from Nintendo to PlayStation because they went with the disc option. We had other games like, I know you don't really care much for racing games, but Gran Turismo got its start on PlayStation. It had good fighting games like Soul Calibur, which was actually back then called Soul Edge. We also had Mega Man 8 and the Mega Man X series. How about Mega Man Legacy 1 and 2? Those games were pretty good. What else? I'm thinking of Tekken. Tekken was a good fighter. More Mortal Kombat. It had the better versions of Mortal Kombat 3 because it was able to output the CD quality sound, whereas the N64 and the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo couldn't. I'm thinking definitely A tier for PlayStation. They also struck out on their own against Nintendo because Nintendo felt they were being cheated. Because the PlayStation had something that they were able to control over Nintendo. So Nintendo backed out of their deal and created one of their biggest rivals.
Yeah, not only that, it started the whole, like you said, it created their biggest rival. It's one of the reasons why CDI has some of the shit versions of Zelda and Mario. But I was about to say definitely A, because during that time, I really never played PlayStation until I got the PS2. That's when I started playing some of the later versions on PS1 games. Because I only had a PlayStation 1 for like very short. I think I bought it cheap and I used it to sell it immediately.
I got mine for finishing the 4th grade in June of 1998, and the first 2 games I got with it were Crash Bandicoot 1 and Gran Turismo. So I had my PlayStation 1 for a couple of years before the PS2 came out. I got, good mileage out of it, I think.
Well, that's the one thing good about the PS2. I mean, it had backward compatible to
we'll get
the
PS2. That's only a few consoles away, actually.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the WWE games that we know today got their start on the PlayStation with the SmackDown series.
Yeah, actually. Oh God, that's a good point. That was one of the bigger ones that I liked was the SmackDown series.
Yeah, definitely A tier for PlayStation. They deserve it.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely going to be people like TSS. He says easy S tier. So honestly, there's going to be some people be pissed if we don't immediately make it an S.
Did the stream go down at all? Because I just got a thing.
No,
here.
I see everything.
It says welcome to chat room. So
I see, unless it looks fine on my side, but
yeah, because it's not updating the chat for me, so I can't even see what TSS is saying anymore. Oh, there it goes.
See?
Okay, yeah, it's good. Just making sure.
I think it does the loading thing, and it wasn't doing that, so.
Magnavox Odyssey, Casey, do you know more about this than I do? I only know a little bit based on AVGN's video on it. That's pretty
much. I'm in the same boat because I know that's the first game system of all time with cartridges.
They were trying to be innovative, I guess. You had to put those overlays on the TV, and you had to be very imaginative to come up with the games. And even back then, I don't know how long it would have entertained anybody. I'm thinking
Uh,
I'm thinking D tier or C tier. I'm thinking D
let's
tier.
go with C tier to be nice because it was the innovative. I mean, think about it, back in the 70s, the only thing they had was Pong.
And
And,
because they try, I guess because they tried something. Give them a little credit
and
for trying.
yeah, give them a little credit for trying. Let's give them C.
All right. And you said this is what the Apple fucking Pippin that nobody knows about.
It's very expensive, and not only the system's expensive, the games is just almost as expensive as well. So
I'm thinking really nobody knows shit about this thing. So where do you think it goes?
I say, and I hear it's pretty freaking awful. I immediately give it the D.
Give it the D. Casey wants to give it the dick. I got it.
Give it to the dick.
N64. Now I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased here. This console came out on my birthday, September 29th, 1996. I did get this console on my birthday. I'm just gonna place it in A tier because that's my bias. But
you know what? I was finally gonna say S tier, but I'm happy with A tier.
I'm thinking let's talk our way through it a little bit. I got this console on my birthday in 1996. I got Super Mario 64 as the first game. A little bit later, I got Mario Kart 64, which I played to death with my dad and my cousins. It had probably some of the best wrestling games when Akira or Aki Corp made the WCW NWO games, and then they made WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy.
Well, those were pretty much on N64, but a bunch of the WCW games and even some of the later versions, like WWF Warzone and Attitude were both on they were on the PlayStation.
Right.
I think Attitude was also on Dreamcast, I think.
Right, but the WCW games I was referring to was WCW vs. NWO World Tour and WCW NWO Revenge. Those were the ones I was referring to.
Oh yeah,
those
I
were the
love
64
those.
classics. You also had now I'm not a Zelda fan. I know you love Zelda. We had Ocarina of Time. We had Majora's Mask.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of those, even though I got them boxed.
Mario Party got its start on Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
So did Smash Brothers, and Smash took off as its own entity over the years. There's been at least one Smash game on every console since then. Paper Mario got its start on the N64. Paper Mario's got mixed feelings across the board these days.
I'm thinking when 64 came out, people started thinking, oh yeah, this is starting to be more of a child system.
It looked better in terms of 64-bit graphics than the Jaguar did, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying because while PlayStation had more adult games, and probably the same thing with the Saturn.
Right, well, that was also because of the fact that Nintendo opted to stick with cartridges while PlayStation went with CDs. Otherwise the N64 would have gotten Final Fantasy VII, and who knows if they stuck with the N64 disc drive, which was an add-on, which was a failed add-on that didn't come out of Japan. If they actually did more with that, Final Fantasy might have stayed on the N64. And it might have saved the N64 disc drive, and we might have gotten Super Mario 64 too.
Alright, I got a quick question for you, and probably for TSS, for this one. Let's say we go back in history, and we convince Nintendo to do disc drive. Do you think that would crush Sony?
I don't think they would beat Sony in the end, but I think it would have made it for a hell of a lot more interesting run.
I think a lot of the games that Sony got would have went on Nintendo because people know Nintendo.
I think that the N64 definitely would have gotten more third-party support, and it would have gotten better third-party support.
So I think it would crush PlayStation to the point they might have had PS2, but it wouldn't be as successful as it was.
That's hard. That's honestly hard to call. PlayStation probably wouldn't have been as successful, but I don't think N64 would have beaten it.
I think it would beat it if it had CDs, because it would have all. Let's say it would have all the games that utilize the CDs. I mean, I think it would crush them, but
that's not a bad idea. TSS says if they make the next Mario Party, they should just remake Mario Party 1, 2, and 3 with online play. And they'd have to do the online right, because they didn't do very well with the Super Mario Party online play.
Oh, the last two Mario Parties sucked asshole. And even though I heard 9 was not that great, like, the first Mario Party game I ever played, it was my wife introduced it to me, was Mario Party 8 on the Wii. And I loved it.
The first ones, I've played 1, 2, and 3 on the N64. I've never played any Mario Party after that.
Oh, 8? I really loved 8. But when Mario Party 10 came out for the Wii U, we were extremely disappointed. And,
yeah, I heard, Mario Party 10, I heard was pretty shitty, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the newest one's not as bad, but didn't help its case either. I mean,
so
it's just
let's see. Sega Dreamcast, Sega's last console before becoming a third party.
Yeah.
They were actually doing pretty well until PlayStation announced the PS2, and then Xbox, who was the newcomer in the console war, completely put Sega out of their misery. Had a lot of great games for the short run that it had.
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2. It had it did have a couple Resident Evil games, right? It had Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
It had Jet Set Radio. It had a lot of great games that still get re-released today.
Yeah, well, it's kind of continue what they did on the Saturn, where the Saturn had a bunch of arcade games that were ported to it.
It even had Shenmue. It had Shenmue 1 and 2, and that just got re-released last year on the PS4. Shenmue 3 just came out as well, so you know what?
And also Shenmue 1 and 2 was on the Xbox as well. Well, Xbox One.
Right. So the Dreamcast legacy still lives on, and there's still some homebrew support. I don't know how much. I don't know how much anymore, but a couple of the games out there came out. Like Fast Striker was a one of those shoot 'em ups that actually had HD support for the Dreamcast. That game actually was pretty good from what I've seen.
Yeah, they're still making games for the Dreamcast.
TSS is saying B tier. I was thinking maybe A tier. They did have Marvel vs. Capcom 2. They had a lot of fighting games too. That's right. They had Marvel vs. Capcom 2. They had Soul Calibur. It had the definitive version of Mortal Kombat 4 called Mortal Kombat Gold. I'm thinking A tier. TSS says B tier. What do you think? What do you think, Casey?
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I'm gonna have to give it A tier.
You want to put it in A tier? I'm feeling A tier only because it was the last bastion. Sega. Sega went down swinging. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
They released some good shit.
Yeah, they tried.
I remember I got the Dreamcast on Christmas Day in 2001, so the console was already obsolete when I got it. And I remember I got the flu that day. I caught the flu from my parents, the one and only time I've ever gotten the flu in my 31 years on this planet. And you know what? The Sega Dreamcast got me through that day because I played the shit out of Sonic Adventure that day, all day long.
You know what? I want to put some few game systems in S tier. I know Well, let's go ahead and continue because I was going to want to throw a few in the S tier, but
Right, we can see where the rest of these land.
yeah.
Right off the bat, I'm putting PS2 in S tier. No questions asked.
Oh.
PlayStation 2 had so many great games, dude. So many great games.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. And because one, it had DVD support.
Yeah, it had backwards compatibility, which, correct me if I'm
That,
wrong, was the PlayStation 2 the first console to be backwards compatible?
no. Well, hold on. Let's see. Without any add-ons to do it, I would say yes.
I know the Game
No.
Boy systems were backwards compatible.
No.
We'll get to those.
Atari 7800 was backward compatible to 2600.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yep, I didn't think of that one. Well, see that's me not growing up in the Atari age. So.
Well, it's because I was thinking other systems had some add-ons to do it. I mean, the Sega Genesis has the power of the Master System in there. The only reason you're not able to do it is because the cartridge size won't let you. I mean, the add-on for the Sega Genesis Model 1, that thing you plop on top, doesn't do anything special. All it is a converter. I mean, it's a pass-through because it has the right amount of pins for it.
Right. So yeah, dude, the PS2 had a lot of great games, and I know some of them were multi-port. But it did have great games on its own right, like the SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs games. Actually, I have a story to tell about that one, real quick.
Which one?
SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs. It's a army shooter. It was like one of the biggest online games at the time. It went head to head with Halo 2 in terms of online play. SOCOM, one time it was me, my brother, and two of our friends and our cousin. We would have five PS2s and 5 TVs set up in our bedroom. We would have 5 people playing the same game online at the same time. My friend would come over from like 2 blocks away, carrying a TV with his PS2 down the street. My other friend would come from across the yard because he lived on the other side of our backyard. So he would come over with his TV and his PS2. At one time, our friend that walked down the street, who lived down the street a couple blocks away, one time he was walking to our house, and he had his TV and his PS2 with him, and a cop was just doing, regular patrol. And a cop stopped him. He goes, where you going with that TV, son? He goes to my friend's house. He goes to my friend's house. We're gonna play a game. He didn't even ask about the PS2. And then my friend looked at the cop and he goes, "It's because I'm black, isn't it?" No lie, that's a true fucking story.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, dude, PlayStation 2 was amazing. It sold the most consoles in PlayStation history, currently being rivaled by the PS4.
And you know what? The Switch is on its right way up there.
PS2 had a lot of great games, as I already mentioned. I got my first taste of online play with the PlayStation 2. I've had a lot of memories with my friends, and my cousin, and my brother with the PS2. I could not resist but to put it in S tier. PS2 is by far one of the greatest game consoles ever made.
Actually, the first time I ever played it is I bought my brother's PlayStation 2. Actually, this is the room that when we moved, I'm forgetting, I think he was just going through a divorce. Not divorce, separating from his wife, and I guess he needed some money, and I was like, "Hey, I'll buy your PS2," or he offered it. So, yeah, I'll buy it. Why not? I'll have a PS2. Why not? So It was like during that time I was working at Sears, and I was like, and all my money was just disposable. So I bought. That was the first time I had all the systems in the generations when it was relevant.
Right. So TSS is A tier. Casey, where do you think the PS2 belongs, man?
It's hard. I'm like right in the middle between S or A. If I'm gonna, it's definitely not gonna be in front of my other ones that I'd like to put in front of the PS2. So, like, I'm gonna fight for one system to make it push it up in front of the S tier. So I'm gonna fight for this one to be for front, and I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about.
All right. Did we already covered it already? It's already ranked here.
No.
No. All right.
No.
So would you agree with me leaving this on the S tier, or should I put the PS2 down to the A tier?
I'll leave it on S. I mean, you gotta show mad respect. Selling over 150 million units, and
2 of them were mine, by the way.
and you know what? Had a bunch of good positive stuff, so I'm okay with that.
All right. Next one, GameCube. I didn't have a lot of memories with the GameCube. There were some great games on it, though. Super Mario Sunshine stands out, sort of. I know you probably like Wind Waker. Smash Bros. Melee.
Okay.
Smash Bros. Melee is like everybody's favorite Smash game, even though I don't see it. I didn't play many GameCube games, man. To me personally, I would. Whoops, wrong one. Hold on. Me personally, I'd put it in the B tier.
That's where I was going to put it. Exactly, because to me, this is Nintendo's first flop as a home console.
It was very kid-friendly, more so than the N64. They went with the mini discs. They went with the mini discs instead of the full-size CDs that PlayStation and Xbox were using. On one hand, though, it did have the Game Boy Advance player, so that had one thing going for it.
Well, did you know that the GameCube actually had more power than the PS2?
Really? I certainly don't see it. But that's just me.
It definitely did, but honestly, the Xbox was the most powerful one during that time frame.
And the GameCube, of course, is Sonic the Hedgehog's new home at first when Sega went third party, because
well, that's not totally true. It was also on the Xbox too, because
but Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, the port of Sonic Adventure 2, and the port of Sonic Adventure 1 released on the GameCube only for those two, and then the other Sonic-related games did release on multi-platform.
I'm going to have to say this about TSS. He's saying Sunshine is amazing. No, back in the day, back in 2002, no one gave a flying fuck about Sunshine.
I liked Sunshine. I liked it. I didn't exactly like the flood mechanic thing, like having to rely on a water sprayer and stuff like that. I thought some of the levels were great. I certainly didn't like the game enough at the time to beat it. Like, I actually didn't beat Sunshine.
To me, I still now I have to give it. It has to be in the line of Mario series, but at that time, I didn't consider it as one of the Marios. To me, I thought it's like, where's the next Mario game? Like, I accept Mario 64. At the time, it's still hard. It's still hard for me to play it because the controls is hard still. But Sunshine sucks.
I wouldn't say it sucks, but it certainly wasn't the best Mario game.
Oh no.
Looking back, I mean, yeah, it's part of Mario's history for sure. Definitely deserves to be in the 3D All Stars collection that did come out. I'm certainly going to give Sunshine another shot, during my charity stream and see if I think differently about it. Because when I was a kid, I was what, 12 years old when I got that game. At that time, I was playing more mature games because my parents let me play those kinds of games. So I didn't care as much about Mario Sunshine. But I did own it. I did play it. I did like it for what it was, but it just wasn't my favorite Mario game. Far from it.
Oh, I agree. Far from it. I mean, at that time frame is definitely the worst for me.
Uh,
But
Microsoft.
with the game, well, but hold on. The thing is, with the GameCube, that was another reason why people thought, oh, Nintendo is a game console for children, because they did have some certain games that were adults, but it was mostly
It had
bunch of
Resident Evil 4, which was a great game. A lot of people loved the GameCube version of that. It did have a port of Mortal Kombat Deception, which gave you, because it didn't have the online play, it gave you Goro and I believe Shao Kahn as playable characters to make up for the no online play. And, so it did have a few M-rated games, but I think this was more aimed at kids more so than
yeah,
N64.
and
Oh yeah, and
that's what.
it did have Enter the Matrix too, which was also a pretty decent game.
Yeah, I like that game too, but that to me, I felt GameCube really hurt Nintendo. Uh,
Um, Xbox to me, in my opinion, straight up B tier. I honestly did not like the original Xbox when it first came out. I did get one for my birthday, and I
mhm,
sold it about 6 months later because I just wasn't interested in the games. I did have Project Gotham Racing. I did
mm.
have, I didn't care about Halo at the time. I still don't
Oh,
really
I
like.
love Halo.
I still don't really like Halo today. Um, when it came to sports games, I would always play them on PS2. Like all the multi-plat games that I liked, I played on PlayStation. It's just how I was back in the day, and most games today, I'm still that same way. I prefer PlayStation over Xbox any day, and I still feel that way today. Though I do realize Xbox's importance in the gaming industry. They do have great series on their own, like Halo is great. A lot of people like it. Now they have Killer Instinct. Now they have Doom. They have Fallout. They have Elder Scrolls
Mm,
now. They have the Forza racing games, which I absolutely love. They have the
mm.
they have the Gears series, while that's been going downhill, still a pretty decent series. Not as many people like it as they used to. But the original Xbox, I just didn't care back then for the games that were out for it. I could have played on PlayStation, and that's what I did. I had the
Actually,
Xbox. I sold it after about 6 months. Though I did like that you were able to save, like you were able to copy CDs into the Xbox so that you could
it
listen to
was pretty
music in
much
the
the
background. That
it
was
was pretty
awesome.
much first system that ever came with a hard drive.
Yes.
But man, I'm happy with B. But at that time frame, that was my main console I was playing. It was the Xbox, and
Sunshine
then
over Galaxy. LOL joking.
I love Galaxy.
I
Galaxy,
never played Galaxy. I'm gonna get my first taste of that in a couple of
it's
weeks.
fun. It's fun.
So yeah, I think we all agree here. B tier for Xbox. And also Xbox was the final nail in Sega's coffin, which didn't make me happy as a kid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's definitely can't have a fourth uh, company in the market. I mean, there's barely any room for three. The only reason they're able to do that is because Nintendo is doing their own thing.
Right. Well, we're
Because
halfway through this list. We're almost done with the consoles, and then we're going to get into the handhelds. So, next up, right into the Xbox 360. Um, Again, I think Xbox is just B tier to me. I mean, It did have
I
better
agree.
graphics. It did have better graphics than the PlayStation 3. I will give it that. But again, all the multi-plat games I play on PlayStation, like Tekken and Tekken and the WWE games and pretty much everything that's multi-plat. Mortal Kombat, I play all that stuff on PlayStation.
I had the 360 when
I still have mine. I liked the console; it was pretty great.
mm,
But I only played it for exclusives, and that's what I do for my Xbox One. I only use it for exclusives, and if I want to watch,
mm,
anime or something, instead of firing up my computer, the Xbox One can run a browser better than the PS4 can. So I watch anime and stuff on the Xbox.
yeah, I'd put Xbox 360 at B.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna put the Xbox 360 at B tier. Um, they did have Army of Two, but that series didn't last very long. Gears of War was great. Um,
I
PS,
enjoyed I enjoyed Halo 3 and 4. I used to have, well, let's see what I got. Gosh, I felt like I had more games than that for the 360. I mean, Sonic Generations was good, but that was on PS4. On PS3
and
as
let's not
well.
forget the Xbox 360's launch problems with the Red Ring of Death.
Yeah,
52% of the consoles were reported defective at launch.
and
52%. That's a little more than half, which is bad.
I played a bunch of my wrestling games on the 360. So, uh, yeah,
PS3. While I do like the PS3, to me it's like the anime machine because it had a lot of those anime games that I like to play.
mm,
A lot of the Japanese RPGs and, as some people call them, big titty pervert games. Um, it launched. It had a very bad launch. I'm just putting it here, B tier for now. We're gonna discuss it. $600.
yeah.
$600. I think was very expensive at launch.
But did you know actually that was a good price for it though?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, PlayStation didn't want to lose too much money per console.
you know how you know
So
how much they're costing them per console.
I think it was what, like $850 or $900 per console to
Yeah,
get.
$900. So they were giving us a $300 discount.
Yeah, realistically, if they just to break even, they would have had to sell it high. Which, if they would
Yeah.
have sold it any more than 600, it would have been even more of a flop at first than it already was.
Oh God.
Um,
I don't, yeah. I'm
Xbox had
happy.
Xbox had better graphics. PlayStation to me again, my console of choice. But I'm gonna rank it. To me, I think it B tier because of the bad launch that it had. It
Mhm.
had a weak. It had a weak launch lineup with like no games. It
But
had those. It
it
had
came
those
up
weird
and
commercials too.
well, eventually came up from the grave and beat Xbox 360 at the
Right.
very end.
See, if we had a tier between B and A, I would put it there. But the
Uh,
PS3 to me,
I would kind of feel the same way with the 360 though, because I played my 360 a lot more than I ever played my PS3.
all right.
So
So
I'm okay with both being at B.
TSS says B tier for Xbox 360. What do you think
Yeah.
about the PS3 TSS? Do you think B tier or A tier? I'm feeling B. I could see why some people would think A tier though.
Yeah, I agree. Or even down because maybe they got pissed about. Honestly, I mean, to me, some of the later games, some of the better games came out at the later end.
He says PS3 B tier, so we'll keep it there. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Nintendo Wii. To me, this would be a forgettable console. That's me being biased. Um, as a Nintendo fan at heart, I was very disappointed with this console. But
I,
I do recognize it did have some good games, but it also had a lot of shovelware.
exactly.
It did have the Galaxy games. It did have a Metroid game. It did have Donkey Kong Country Returns, which was a great game. You know, Mario Kart again and Smash Bros. Of course made an
This
appearance on the Wii.
I actually like the Mario Kart on Wii.
The motion controls
As,
to me just killed the entire console.
well, they were trying something different. I mean, because at the time it's like the controllers. You seen the meme where the controllers have like a billion buttons on there and a billion joysticks and D-pads.
Yep. That was a meme of the PS4 controller.
Yeah. So, but I'm like, so Nintendo's like, fuck that. We'll just kind of go back to basics because you could use the Wiimote as a NES game, as an NES controller too, though, as a wireless NES controller.
So,
But
what were some of your favorite games on the Wii? It was backwards compatible with the GameCube. We got to give it that.
that's one of the things I was about to say is that it was backward compatible to the GameCube, so that was a plus.
Until they removed it, because didn't they release a version of the Wii that took that out?
Yeah, later on. I mean, the ones I like. Oh gosh, I had to look, but I liked how the Pikmin 1 and 2 came out again on the Wii, and it's cheaper to pick those versions up than the GameCube.
It also had the Wii. It also had the virtual consoles too. That was the first console that had all of those. Sega re-released some of their stuff on the Wii Virtual Console. Obviously, Nintendo put a lot of their older stuff up there.
It has. I looked on. It had like I said before.
Even had Netflix.
Yeah. It has Mario Party 8. I really like that. It has the Galaxies games 1 and 2. Mario Kart. Punch Out was good.
Punch Out, I forgot about that one.
Super Mario Wii was good.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad game. I was just disappointed that they didn't do anything different.
No, actually, that was cool back in the day. That was pretty awesome because that was something nice. It was the evolution of the 2D games.
I'm thinking of the Wii U version. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I was disappointed at the Wii U version.
So, what do you think, Casey? TSS says B tier.
I think it being nice is B tier. I see either way, C or B, but you know what? Just because it had GameCube compatibility, I give it the B.
All right, give it the B. Give it the booty.
Just because the game backward compatibility.
All right, Atari 2600. Oh wait, no, I'm skipping ahead. What about the Wii U? Wii U to me, while it had a lot of great games, it was a flop. It was a flop. I think C tier. This is another one that could be one of those B or C tiers. I don't think it deserves any higher than B.
Did you see my face when you said that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I loved my Wii U.
I did too for the time that I had it. It was just disappointing at the fact that it sold so little consoles. It wasn't marketed right.
Well,
and,
yeah, that's
it
why.
It didn't have third-party support.
Well, it's because no one knew what the hell Wii U was, because they're like, oh, you just buy the gamepad, right? Because the game console almost looks close to the Wii. They didn't call it the Super Wii or the Wii 2. God forbid they call it the Wii U.
They should have just called it the PU.
But to me, I thought it was awesome. And there's a bunch of the games that are on the Wii U that got ported over.
Switch.
Yeah, because how awesome those games are. And
Still
like
some
one
games
of the,
being ported to the Switch.
like Pikmin 3's coming out in 10 days.
And you got Super Mario 3D World finally coming to the Switch next February.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't wait for that. I mean, shoot, let me look. I can tell you the games what I loved on the Wii U. I mean, Pikmin 3. I love Pikmin 3. Well, we got DuckTales Remastered. That was on all three systems, or at least it was on the Wii U and the PS3. The Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams is a good game. And then you have Super Mario Brothers U, Luigi U,
Super Mario Maker actually was on there. Mario Kart 8 is a great game, yeah.
Mario Kart 8, yes. Mario Maker. I'm going by Nintendo Land. And then you have Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game.
Originally developed for the Wii U, too.
Yeah, and it was ported over to the Switch.
So, alright, I'm going to change my vote. I'm going to say B tier for the Wii U.
I'm trying to fight to make it an A.
Wii U C tier, my least played Nintendo system, says TSS.
Okay. I guess I'll have to consider to B, but I've been trying to shoot for an A because there's...
That's the one you were fighting for? That was the one you were fighting for?
No.
We didn't get there yet, huh?
No, but Splatoon was a great game. Yoshi's Woolly World is awesome.
Yep, that was
NES Remix.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, and Hyrule Warriors.
I just can't see the Wii U being an A-tier console, though. Only because it didn't really have third-party support. It had very little third-party support. And you had to wait months at a time for a game to come out.
And, alright, this is my last try for it. It was backward compatible to the Wii and had a pretty decent virtual console as well. I mean, they were getting the ones from the Wii as well, where it was getting TurboGrafx games, it was getting Neo Geo games.
The virtual console is good, but the backwards compatibility with the Wii to me doesn't mean shit. Because I hated the Wii already, so.
Alright, I guess I have to go with B.
I'm saying B. See, now we need a fourth fucking person, because we've all picked a different tier in this one. So let's call the Wii U a controversial pick.
Because how much I loved my Wii U. I mean, shit, it has the amiibos. I love my amiibos, bro.
Yeah, I like them too, but it's like TSS said and like I said, there were good games on the system, but there weren't enough, third-party support, and there were long gaps where you didn't get anything.
Well, it's because it was so hard, because no one was porting the Wii U. It was mostly Nintendo. But anytime Nintendo, 9 out of 10 times, when they put out a AAA game, it was going to be a home run.
Yeah, it's just not enough to make it an A tier, though.
Fuck.
I just don't see it. Sorry, Casey. Atari 2600, you might fare better with this one. I didn't grow up in the Atari age, although I do know there are a lot of good Atari games. Like I've played Pole Position, and of course, I know the Atari port of Pac-Man was garbage, but it had Miss Pac-Man, which I believe was better.
Miss Pac-Man was way better, and so was
it had Galaga and Galaxian, which were really good. It had Dig Dug, which I was a fan of.
Yard's Revenge is awesome.
It had Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., those games which also got ported to the NES. But those games are great too.
Yeah, so I like to see It doesn't have to be front of the A tier, but it deserves at least to be on the A tier, being
Now
so
let me ask you.
recognized.
Let me ask you this: what was the final resulting reason for the crash of 1983? Was it
It was,
Atari's fault?
it was, it wasn't solely Atari's fault. It was a bunch of reasons. It was because you had so many game consoles. You had the Magnavox Odyssey 2. You had the ColecoVision. You had the Intellivision. You had the Atari 2600. And then you had the Atari 5200. And then you had all these Pong consoles that are still kind of selling during that time frame. And then computers were starting to come up from nowhere. And then it was the garbage games that were coming on the 2600.
I know there was I know there was a lack of quality control at the time, where there's a lot of games. There were a lot of shitty games put out at a short time, and a lot of companies weren't crediting their developers properly. Some companies were releasing their games under multiple publishing names.
Mm.
So I want to say B tier, just because it was part of the crash of 1983. But I know that's not solely Atari's fault. Atari did have a lot of great games, and it even gave Mario his start.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, yeah, they had E.T. and the Pac-Man was Atari's fault, but a bunch of the garbage games that came out, it had a bunch of shovelware games, but it's because everyone and their mother was making games for the console. So I say, to me, it's got to be on the bottom of the pack of A.
All right, I'll give you that one. I was feeling like very high B tier, low A tier, but you know we don't have an in between, so
Yeah.
and solely because you know a lot more about the Atari than I do, I'll give you that one.
All right. Thank you.
All right, now we come to the current generation. Actually, before we do the current generation, there's still a couple of ones on here, so let's knock these out. What was this one called again, Casey? This was the Intellivision, right?
Yeah, the television.
All right. Where would you put this one? What do you know about it? Because I don't know diddly dick.
It came out just a little bit after the Atari 2600. It actually had a processor of it had the first 16-bit processor in it, but it didn't utilize it as power like the Genesis.
Right.
But it was the first system to have anything like the Sega Channel. It would download games from the phone line, and you can play from the phone line on a cartridge still, and it's cool. It's not bad. It plays better than the Atari, but
it didn't have the games lineup, right? That Atari had.
No, because Atari had a bunch of the well-known games. Like they had a bunch of the arcade Atari ports.
So you're saying
I would
C tier.
C.
C tier. All right. We still got a few more consoles here. This one is the Intellivision. Is that correct?
You mean the ColecoVision?
Yes, the ColecoVision. We just did the Intellivision, though.
Yeah. I'd say the same boat because it's just as good as the television. But
and they both contributed to the video game crash.
I wouldn't blame them. I'm just saying it's just having 4 consoles and actually 5 consoles because 2 of them was from the Atari. With the addition of the PCs starting to come out, no one know who to go for. So I say I enjoyed the ColecoVision. I put it in C tier.
So you liked it, but to a lot of other people, it's forgettable.
Yeah, I mean, only people like me or older know what the hell Intellivision or ColecoVision
Right.
is.
Okay, so how about the Atari 5200? Had a shitty controller. I know that much. Half the time never worked. Thing was fucking huge for a game console.
Mm. Let's give it to D. The graphics was actually pretty good, but what the controller just breaks down all the time, and should have been backward compatible. The only way it could be backward compatible is this giant ass brick that you plug into the thing, and I heard certain versions of the 5200 would do it as well. So, well, one would, one won't.
I was just thinking. Let's go back to the 2600 for a second.
Yeah.
Wasn't this the console that also allowed you to use like Sega Genesis controllers?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And I
Make sure I
think
had that right.
and I think the same thing, you could do the same thing with the ColecoVision as well.
So here we got the 7800. You said this one had backwards compatibility with the 2600.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, other than AVGN didn't even do a video on this one, so I don't know shit about this console.
I'd give it B because it was backward compatible. It was natively backward compatible. If they came out just before Nintendo, the NES, they could took Nintendo out, because if better graphics, not better graphics than Nintendo, but better graphics than the 2600, backward compatible to 2600, and I mean, but they waited 2-3 years after Nintendo released theirs, and that's what caused it. So, and here's a fun tip. This was actually going to get an add-on, and you know what add-on this would have got?
The only thing I could think of is a CD add-on.
You would be close. It would had a laser
disc. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, laser disc.
But like, imagine having a huge laser disc add-on sitting below your Atari 7800. I think it looked hilarious.
I think the Laserdisc player would have been bigger than the console itself.
Exactly, because it'd be sitting on top of it. It'd look weird. Because the laser disc is the size of a record. It's practically a record. So, to me, I'd give it a B.
Give it a B, alright. Sega Master System. I didn't play, like I said, more of a Nintendo kid growing up. I didn't even know this thing was a thing until I was a teenager. When I played the older ports of Sonic the Hedgehog that was on the Game Gear that were first on the Master System, which I didn't know about. It had Alex Kidd was the Sega mascot at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about the console other than the fact that it was, in the fight against NES, but I don't think it had I don't think it had much of a chance to beat Nintendo. Which is why Sega changed their marketing strategies and they came up with a new mascot, and Sonic was born and the Sega Genesis took off for a little while.
I would say put it in the B tier because one of the things is it actually was more powerful. It was superior to the NES.
I was thinking C tier because that's because I never played it. I don't know anything about it. But you think you have a Master System, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, and I think it had a bunch of good games. Actually, Double Dragon on Sega Master System is superior.
Yeah, those game covers were pretty fucking boring.
Oh, come on! I think they are boring to me, but they're still kind of look cool to me, though.
And if I wanted to stare at graph paper, I would have stayed in school.
And then also it played Sega cards too. They look like TurboGrafx cards.
Yes, that I remembered.
And it had 3D, had support to 3D glasses instead of having the red and blue glasses.
Like
they
Nintendo
actually
had.
he actually had some 3D glasses that, I guess it flickers and made it look 3D. But I say because how more superior it was to the NES, and certain games were better, I give it a B tier.
Well, that would mean we have to give the NES at least an A tier spot because it was all around better than the Sega Master System. It gave Super Mario the chance to save the video game industry.
So, assuming are we doing the NES right now?
Yes.
Alright, this is the one that I was talking about. I'm trying to push this one as the top of the top.
Okay.
Because to me, Nintendo, the NES, brought the video game back from the ashes. When, if it wasn't because of the NES, we wouldn't have had none of this today.
And you think of the legacy of the NES too. You had, the Mario games, you had Mega Man, you had
Zelda.
You had Zelda, yep. You had Metal Gear, you had what else got its start? Kirby got its start on the NES.
There's a bunch of great Disney games. You got DuckTales.
DuckTales, yep, that's right. Yeah, DuckTales.
You had the Rescue Rangers games were awesome too. There's a bunch of good games. I mean, gosh, the Black Box games were good.
I like Duck Hunt. That was cool with the light gun.
Ah, fuck. You had the Turtles, the Ninja Turtle games were fun.
The first one wasn't as good, but the other ones were good.
Yeah, Battletoads. There's a bunch of awesome games that are on there, and I feel like the NES should have the top spot. Not only on S tier, it should be in front, because that's how I feel. I'm like, to me, I'm a Nintendo guy through and through.
Let's see here. TSS also says A tier. I'm thinking of NES. It did also had the dog bone top loader with the dog bone controller. It was the first console to kick off the mini classic console wave that we've had over the past few years. There was a lot of great games on it, but there are also a lot of stinkers. Thank you, LJN.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of... Every system has some stinkers.
Trying to think, man. It's you know what, man? This thing was my life when I got my start in video games. It's hard for me to tell. I honestly don't know.
This is the one I was really want to try to fight for it to be on top. I mean, for anything, Mario 3 is like the best game. Honestly, if I had to choose the best Mario game, it's Mario 3. Come on.
Oh man, I want to do it. I really do. I want to do it. I just. Oh man. I took this thing everywhere when I was a kid too. Before I got.
Oh, that's the same thing, dude. I had two of these. I wouldn't say backpacks, but they were these cargo carrier things. I had two of them. We would put the system in one and a shitload of NES games in them in the other.
All
and
right,
bring it.
Casey, do you have a coin on you, like a quarter? We're gonna do it this way.
No,
No, you don't have a coin. Fuck me.
no.
I was gonna leave it up to a coin toss because I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted here. What do I do?
Alright, you know what? Let's put it on S tier, but we'll have to come back and
All right, we'll leave it on S tier for now because we're gonna go back and finalize this list when we're done.
I think we should do a poll where it says does the NES we'll do a poll and we'll see if anyone agrees with me if the NES deserves to be in the top tier, not only be on the top tier S position, it has to be in front because the NES was the best of all time.
Well, you could also say the same thing for the Wii U if you really want to fight for that thing to be in the A tier.
Well, I had to reluctantly agree about pushing it back down to B, but I would at least try to shoot for an A. I know I'd be on drugs to say if it's an S system.
No, there's no way in hell that was an S tier. But
No.
what is an S tier console, in my opinion, is the PlayStation 4. That's just my bias talking. It's easily an A tier. It's easily an A tier console.
I agree with that. You know what? Because it has the VR on it, and I'm enjoying the VR.
It has a lot of great games, dude. The fucking PS4
Yeah.
lineup is like, it didn't have a great launch, and that seems to be a theme in PlayStation. But we've got a lot of great games, a lot of classic games got remastered on the PS4. Crash Bandicoot came back from the dead.
I mean, we could look. I mean, shoot. I mean, we both praised that Tetris Effect game.
That game was absolutely beautiful. This game, the PS4 has all of the all the anime games I like to play, where the Xbox doesn't. I know the Switch does too, but the PS4 just has more of them.
I mean, gosh, it has the. Trying to look.
And again, it's just my preferred system to play a game on. That's all.
Well, I play the Switch the most, but if I want to play as some of the bigger consoles, it would be the PS4.
Right.
So, I'm okay with the PS4 being on the S tier. I mean, shit. I had I'm trying to remember how long I had the PS4. Probably around at least 4 months, and I got a shitload of PS4 games.
I'm saying S tier because, I mean, I got my PS4 on launch day. The console lasted me over 5 years before it crapped out on me. It has a lot of great games. It's my preferred, console of choice to play, the most multi-plats on. Because even on the Switch, I've double dipped on the Switch a couple times, like Sonic Mania. I have that on the PS4 and the Switch. So Rocket League I downloaded on the Switch as well when that went free to play. So I have that now on the PS4 and the Switch. So there's a couple of games that I like to play. To me, the PlayStation is, and it's my bias. I understand that. I may be biased. Some people won't agree, but hey, this is our list. So if you don't like it, make your own. that's the only thing I can tell you. I'm biased towards the PlayStation. I have to give it an S. I have to give it the S tier.
Yeah, I'd definitely give it an S, at least an A. But
exactly, at least an A, top A tier. S tier for sure.
I agree about that. Top A, mid to lower S.
Definitely not. When it comes to memories and stuff, the PS2, in my eyes, is still above the PS4. just because of the library and the memories that I'll always have. With the PS2 and my friends and my a couple of my relatives. Memories like that you just can't beat. So, continuing with the trend of Xbox being in the B tier, I feel that's where it belongs.
I agree.
So
the only thing they have that was good they had to make a bunch of people who are Xbox people happy after the shit show when they're announcing it and released it.
Yeah, dude. That was bad. That was really bad.
I think the guy, was it Phil Spencer, who pretty much took over the Xbox brand?
If he didn't, the Xbox One probably would have been dead.
Oh yeah, I think it would have been done. I think Xbox would have been dead. But I mean, he reversed a bunch of the shit that we did not like. Two, he started bringing back some backward compatibilities. I think somewhere like a huge chunk of the 360 is backward compatible, even though you're not actually playing on the fucking console. Yeah. I mean, you're playing on the console. You're not playing off the disc. But and then they gave us some original Xbox compatibility as well. So
Nintendo Switch, easy A tier for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Easy A. I would definitely shoot for S for the Switch.
How do we argue that this thing should be in the S tier? I think because it was the first official hybrid console.
It was meant to be the first hybrid console. I mean, you had the systems like the Sega Nomad played, and actually you can play the Nomad on the TV, but it was just later on. It was at the very end of the Sega Genesis life, and they just finally condensed it down to a handheld. And at the very end, and that's why only very select are in the wild.
I know.
Turbo graphics, the Turbo Express is, you can play console games on it, but you can't plug this thing into a TV.
TSS also says the Switch is an A tier right now. I know it has a lot of great games. It's got Mario Maker 2. It's got 3D All Stars. It's got Tetris 99. It's got, unfortunately, the temporary Super Mario 35. It's got a lot of the Wii U ports that they're doing. Nintendo's doing everything right with the Switch that they did wrong with the Wii U. Exactly. They got a lot of great games. They're marketing it perfectly. They're marketing it to everyone. There's a little bit of everything for the Switch for Switch players, no matter how old you are, in my opinion. Although it is less powerful. It is less powerful than its opponents, which means that Switch ports have to
be dumbed down.
Yeah, they have to take some losses, which is the only reason I think that's the major reason why it shouldn't be an S tier console, because it's less powerful and you have to strip down some of the Switch games' quality to get it to run on their console.
Because the thing is, it's at the end of the day, it's really a handheld. It's a freaking tablet.
Right, and they made it playable on a TV.
Yeah, but it's we know in the future this is the way Nintendo's going. They're not going back to normal consoles and handhelds. This is definitely the way they're going from now on.
This is somewhere I expect Sony at least to go in the future. The hybrid style. Although they don't seem to care as much about handheld gaming, obviously, as we'll talk about. We're getting there.
I think after what happened to Vita, they don't care about them no more.
Yeah.
So Here's my exception.
Nintendo Switch, definitely a high A tier, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. Can we, if we're not going to put it in the S tier, can we move it to the front of the pack of A?
I got it just behind the PlayStation.
Okay, I'm alright with that.
Only because, the PlayStation is, it's retro, it's got a lot of good shit.
And it still has the potential to move up.
Right.
Because it's still relevant.
So now we're entering the handhelds. All we have left are handhelds. First off, the Ouya technically wasn't a handheld. It was a console. Should we even bother ranking this thing? Because was it really its own game console? Was it mainly like a emulator for retro games?
No, it was a home system for mobile games. That's pretty much what it was made for.
So should we rank this thing? Like, I don't even care about the Ouya, to be honest.
Let's put it on D for dumpster fire, because they couldn't even give a flying fuck about it.
Yeah, I don't care about the Ouya, honestly. Alright, so let's start with this big gray brick that Nintendo called the Game Boy.
I loved it.
I did too. I took this thing everywhere when I was a kid. Game Boy. Do you think if the Game Boy was not ever successful, do you think we'd have handheld gaming at all today?
I would say yes. I don't know. I think that it heavily changed Nintendo's thinking. They probably would continue with where their systems are more powerful, but because how their handhelds were dominant, so
I want to put the Game Boy on a low S tier, and
I agree.
I'm thinking low S tier because this thing had a lot of support. You had the Game Boy camera, which was actually used by Neil Diamond at one point. He made one of his CD covers with the Game Boy camera.
Yeah.
This thing had a lot of support. It had Super Mario Land. It had Tetris. It had Donkey Kong. It had fucking Pokemon. Pokemon got its start on the Game Boy.
Pokemon gave the Game Boy its second life. It was starting to die down, and then when Pokemon came out, it gave Game Boy another lease on life.
Now, I don't know why the Game Boy Color is not its own option, but, as the Game Boy, that thing lasted for a long time. And as it got older, it got better. Because you had the Game Boy Pocket, which was a smaller version of it, which didn't have that monochrome, ugly green-colored screen.
I'm going to have to let you take over on some of these, because after a couple of them, some of the modern, like the Game Boy Color, I never played it. The Game Boy Advance, I never played it.
Right. Fair enough.
So I'm going to have to let you take over on those.
Right. Oh, I mean, the Game Boy Color is not even an option, which I don't understand why, but
you can rate it and say, hey, this is where I would put it if it was here.
I'll put it this way. I'm just going to lump the two together. Game Boy and Game Boy Color is an S tier. As the Game Boy got older, in my opinion, it got better. They made it smaller. They made the screen better. It eventually got color, which is where the Game Boy Color comes from. It got a lot of good games, and it was a fun little thing to carry around. Actually, I got my Game Boy. Casey, because my dad used to work. My dad used to work for a company called Enterprise Rental Car. I don't know if you've heard of them, or I don't know if they exist, anywhere else.
What, Enterprise?
Yeah, Enterprise Rental Car.
Yeah, they're still there.
So one day, my dad was, I guess he picked up a car. He picked up a car or whatever, or he was detailing it or whatever, that somebody had rented and dropped off. And whoever rented it left a Game Boy in the back seat.
Oh, no shit.
And my dad took it, and instead of putting it in a lost and found at the company's location, he took it home and gave it to me.
I would you blame him?
No,
Like,
but I mean that's kind of fucked up to do that, If you were somebody, if you lost something that you really liked, especially if you were a kid, and some other adult found it, wouldn't you hope that person would be kind-hearted enough to give you a chance for you to get your thing back?
I'm sorry. Unless you're like someone who really didn't care about gaming, then there's a chance. But if you're like, hey, maybe my child would like this, I mean, that's why they call it finders, keepers, losers, or weepers.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, man, the Game Boy had a lot of great games. It was pretty cheap back then too. $100 wasn't bad.
Oh no, I mean maybe for the parents. I'm not 100% sure. I probably would say, yeah, that probably was kind of expensive back in the day. I'm not 100% sure.
The only thing that sucked was it was a battery eater,
No,
obviously, and that's pretty much for all of these, up until the DS
the game
era. The Game Gear was worse.
Gear was the worst because it held
That took
only
6 batteries.
It took 6 batteries and they ate those batteries in quicker.
Speaking of, let's go with the Game Gear. Had a lot of decent games. It had Columns. It had Sonic. It had various Sonic games. It had ports of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It had better ports on the Mortal Kombat.
It had a better screen at the time before the Game Boy went color.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking low A tier for the Game Gear, high B tier
Yeah,
at the
I'm okay.
least.
I'm okay with low A tier.
And
Maybe.
let's not forget the Game Gear got some support this year. Thanks Japan for that.
Yeah, but Japan got them, and yeah, technically you can port them over.
We'll probably get them too. I mean, maybe depends on how they sold in Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Game Gear was pretty fun. My mom bought one for herself, which I ended up playing it more than she did. But yeah, it was a fun little system. But you know what wasn't a fun little system?
What?
The Virtual Disaster.
The Virtual Disaster. I like that. That's great.
D tier for sure. It only had like 10 games ever made for it.
What tier are you going to put it on?
I'm putting it in the D tier.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I mean...
I'm putting it in the D tier because it only had like 10 games ever made for it. The colors were only black and red. Playing it for a certain amount of time made your head hurt.
And
you had to stick your face into the fucking thing to play it.
The one thing I like to make exception to this, I want to push this as top D tier.
Top of the D tier, alright.
Because
they also marketed this thing as a portable console, which we all know it wasn't.
Technically, it is portable. I mean, are you gonna walk around with the fucking thing on your face? No. I mean, but it did have a battery pack. You did not actually need to plug it in, so I can see why they called it portable.
And let's not forget the Virtual Boy was discontinued before they could even release the Virtual Link cable to play multiplayer on it.
Yeah,
the thing sucked. The thing sucked. It absolutely sucked.
Did you ever played it?
Yes, I had one.
Oh, no shit. I only played... my best friend had it.
I only had 2 games for it. I had the Mario Tennis and I had the Galactic Pinball.
I think the tennis was the pack-in.
Yeah, I think it was. I just didn't... I mean, I played it on and off. I certainly wouldn't say it was my favorite. But yeah, it sucked. Looking at it now, it's bad. It's not good. This one here, Casey, is this the Atari Lynx? Or is this the Sega Nomad?
No, I think that looks like the Neo Geo Pocket.
Okay.
It's
I
hard.
never played this thing, so I don't know anything about it.
I'm in the same boat, but I wouldn't say D tier. I wouldn't. I would honestly put it. I would say. I know a lot of people liked it. I think some people liked it, so I would say top C tier.
Okay, above the Sega Pico.
Yeah.
That's about right. You know what? I'll even put the Saturn above the Pico. How about that? So this one.
Did you say Saturn or you meant the 3DO?
Yeah, the 3DO. That's what I meant.
I'm okay with that. Actually, you can move the Pico all the way on the end.
All right. So what about this handheld then? Was this the Lynx?
No, that's the Wonder Swan.
So then the Lynx, the Atari Lynx isn't even on here?
I don't see it.
Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah, no shit. There's certain things I'm shocked it's not on here. I never played the Lynx, so
I mean, me neither. So,
but I mean, if I had to guess, I would definitely put it under the Game Gear, even though they both had color screens. But
so it would be like a high B tier for handhelds.
Well, where's the Game Gear at? A?
Yeah, we put it low A.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so
Wonder Swan. I know it's the person who made was the innovator of Game Boy.
That was Gunpei Yokoi, right?
Yeah, and after the disaster of the Virtual Boy, he said he didn't left because the Virtual Boy, but I beg to differ.
Bandai made the Wonder Swan, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought so, yeah.
But it was only in Japan. And so that's kind of weird. Why are we getting this on this list? So I'm going to say C tier because I would designate the D tier of shit we know failed horribly.
You know what else isn't on here that failed horribly? That was actually marketed as a games console?
What?
The Hyperscan.
I got that. That would be
that would be a fucking D tier for sure.
Exactly. What's funny, I came to Oklahoma on a vacation. I went to one of the vintage stocks, and they have all the consoles up in the rafters and for sale. And I saw the Hyperscan for like $15-20, and it said a couple games like $15-20 for another console. Why not? And I already heard it was horrible, and they were shocked that I picked it up. They was like, it's horrible, right? Like, yeah, that's why I like. I was like, oh, was this a gag gift? Or like, nah, I want it.
Yeah, my brothers had the Hyperscan. They had that X-Men fighting game for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I actually have that and the Ben 10 game. But let's say another one that that's not on the list is the Neo Geo AES.
Yeah, the Neo Geo consoles aren't on here. I think those deserve to be high B tier. They were expensive, but they had some really good games.
Yeah, it's the art that you actually played the arcade games. So I would definitely give it the high B tier.
I think it would deserve to be in the front of the B tier, to be honest.
It's going to be hard because there's a bunch of good game consoles in the Bs.
Yeah. I'm actually going to move the PS3 to the front of the B tier. Xboxes, we'll move those to the front of the B tier as well. We'll move the GameCube. We'll keep GameCube at mid B. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this setup where it's at now. I like the GameCube more than the Xbox, so that's why I'm doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll make the Wii U a high B tier. How about that? Right behind the right behind the Xbox One.
Okay, I was gonna say, what about in front of the Xbox One?
You know what? I like the Wii U more than the Xbox One. I actually I probably played the Wii U and my Xbox One about the same amount of time. So yeah, I could see that.
So I like the rearranging.
So we got 7 left, and these ones you said you didn't play as much. The Nintendo Game Boy Advanced.
Yeah.
This console, for what it was a 16-bit. Actually, it was being considered as a 32-bit handheld,
Yeah.
but it played mostly 16-bit games. It had a lot of NES and NES and SNES ports. It did have, the Pokemon series grew even bigger. Eventually, we got the foldable version of the Game Boy Advance called the Game Boy Advance SP, which had the backlight as well, and the Game Boy Advance SP also had a rechargeable battery, so no more AA batteries.
And after that, thank God they went that route. I mean, any more batteries. The only one still putting batteries in their stuff is Microsoft.
Yeah, I think they made a deal with the battery companies, the cheap bastards.
Do you think they did it again with this with the next console?
Oh, I'm sure. I wouldn't doubt it.
Hey, we need to sell some batteries.
The Game Boy Advance had a lot of good games. It had its own Sonic series in Sonic Advance. I think the Game Boy Advance, especially what it became in the SP version later on, I think it deserves to be in the A tier. Definitely better than the fucking. Definitely better than the Game Gear. I would say it's probably right up there with the Dreamcast. Honestly,
I can't fight that because hold on, are you putting it in the A tier?
yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know, and I know people like the Game Boy Advance, so
I loved it. I played it all the time.
So I know it's backward compatibility with the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, so that's always a plus if you ask me.
Yep, and it also it also had that Game Boy Advance video thing they tried pushing, which didn't last very long.
I like how they had some of the game, like you said, the NES port games.
It also had that e-reader, which Nintendo didn't use very often either.
Actually, I could have picked that up, the e-reader and some of the games.
And I forgot to mention it was playable on the GameCube. So
yeah, no, I think you mentioned that. Or I think you mentioned that in the game. Well, and we talked about the GameCube.
So the Nokia N-Gage, Casey. This was a phone as well as a handheld game console.
I know it flopped. I heard it flopped so hard. This is one of those other ones, like, extremely flopped so hard. The only place I ever seen them have this system / cell phone was at a video game store in Philadelphia called the Classic Game Junkie. They did have some games with them. And here's the kicker. Not only you had to put the phone to the edge of the phone to make a call. They called it a space taco because it looked like a taco.
Space taco.
And you know how you change the cartridges on this damn thing?
Yeah, you had to take part of the thing apart, right?
Exactly. So not only it's horrible as a phone, it's flopped hardcore, and then also you had to take the back cover off, remove the battery to change the cartridge. Someone was on drugs making this fucking thing.
Sure as hell sounds like it.
Yeah, so it has to be on the D tier, but I think we're gonna have to I know we rearranged the other tiers. I think we need to rearrange the D tier a little bit, probably.
Well, I already moved the Pippin to second place on the D tier because nobody's heard of that. At least people know what the CDI is to some extent. And the 5200.
Let's move the 5200 in front of the Pippin, and let's
Really?
move
Okay.
move the Pippin right behind the CDI.
You sure? I was thinking the Pippin flopped harder because nobody knew what it was. At least some
That's
people
what I'm
knew
saying.
what the
It's like-
CDI is.
That's what I'm saying. Move the CDI in front of the Pippin.
Well, then that would mean the CDI flopped harder than the Pippin.
No, I'm just saying that actually, no, the Pippin's flipped harder than the CDI.
Right, that's why I have it in front of the CDI. But you want me to reverse it. You want me to put the CDI in front of it.
I'd rather it be reversed.
Okay.
Because it flopped worse, and I think it's... and the CDI was also not touted as a game cost. So it was just... had some games.
B tier GBA, he says the Nokia 2 for D tier. Okay, Nintendo DS and the DS Lite. I love the DS. I did like it.
The DS is good. I really liked it. I thought it was cool that some of them was backwards compatible to the GBA. I wish I kept that one that was backward compatible to the GBA, but I'll let you decide where to put it. I know it's either gotta be... I can't see it being lower than B, but I'm assuming you're gonna put it between S or A.
Actually, I was thinking high B tier.
High B tier.
It did have a lot of games, but at the same time, it did have a lot of shovelware. It did have a port of Super Mario 64, which I wasn't crazy about because the DS didn't have an analog stick. So I feel like it made that game a little harder to play and control.
Talking about that, it's funny you said that because I bought the 64, that version on the Wii U, and I didn't realize you can buy. Well, I shouldn't have been shocked because it did have two screens. I mean, you can watch it on TV and then you can watch it on the gamepad. So,
it did, yeah. The DS had two screens. It had Sonic Rush. That was a good game. Pokemon continued to grow.
And the Wii U also had GBA games on there too. So that's another reason I think should have been moved up to A.
Still fighting for that Wii U, man. I just don't see it. I still just don't see it.
I'm happy, but where it is, I still love my Wii U.
I liked it, man. I just don't see it as an A tier console. Going back to the DS, the DS had a lot of great games. Pokemon continued to thrive on it. It continued using the backlight and the rechargeable battery that Nintendo started using with the Game Boy Advance SP. It was closable. It had that that foldable aspect to it to keep the screen safe when you weren't using it. It had skins you can decorate the console with, which was really cool. It also had online capability. The first handheld, I believe, with online capability.
Minus, when did it came out?
2004. Late 2004 or like early 2005.
Give or take, that was about time. I mean, we were 2 years away from the smartphones.
So I'm thinking high B tier. I could put it in low A tier, but as much as I like the DS, I also didn't play with it as much. Like when I went out somewhere, I didn't take it with me as my game or entertainment of choice. Like I did with the Game Boy, and like I
I
did with the
put
Game Boys.
honestly, I put it in front of the Game Gear. Quite frankly,
We rated that an A. I would say B tier for
where
that.
where are
For
you
the
gonna put the DS at then?
I put it in front of the Wii.
All right, I'm okay with that.
I put it in front of the Wii because I hate the Wii.
I'm all right with that. I prefer playing the DS over the Game Gear because one of the things is for me the Game Gear, the battery deal was a big negative for me. Even though eventually I had some battery packs for it, to me, by the time I got that, it was kind of like I was already about to give up on the Game Gear.
PSP. Have you played this one much? Because I really didn't. I mean, I had played a few PSP games, but I haven't played many.
Yes, I had a PSP. Actually, it was funny when me and my late wife, she was a traveling dialysis. So we were in Vegas for 2 months, 3 months. And here's the story. We were walking distance to the mall. And we decided one day to walk to the mall. There's sometimes like, hey, why don't we just walk there instead of drive, you know?
Right.
And we go through the mall, and they had, you know, one of those prize games. You had the ones with the blocks where you stack the blocks on top of each other, and to the point where the top, you had the mid prize, like the second tier prize, and you can bail out of that.
I think you were telling me something about that once. Didn't you say you won that one time?
Oh, my wife did.
Oh,
She got it where she eventually paid so much. She probably paid for near about a quarter of it.
Wow.
At the time, but she finally got it. What's crazy, I guess the guy saw us playing for it, and we tried to go sell it at a game store. I think there was a local game store, and then we tried to go over to the GameStop. We were trying to sell it and try to make our money back, you know, or get some money, or flip it. And we had this guy following us back and forth. I'm like, dude, fuck off. I'm like, to the point I was like, I think I even told the dude to stop. And I was like, dude, fuck off. I mean, we're not selling it to you. You can go fuck it.
Fuck it up.
Yeah. And then eventually, it was the first, I think it was the first handheld I ever used to go in the bathroom. I don't think I did that with the Game Boy or the Game Gear. I probably did, but
the PSP had internet support. You took it in the bathroom with you. You like to watch porn on it.
No, actually, I played a ton of good games. I played I actually enjoyed playing Madden on it. It was kind of fun playing Madden on it. But I think I had to go with TSS. I think I had to put it in the B tier. I think if I had to rate it, I'd probably put it right behind the DS.
All right. Sounds good to me. You know, like I said, I didn't play much PSP. I know it only had one thumbstick as opposed to the PS Vita, which had two, which made shooters on it, you know, pretty difficult. I did play a lot of I want to say it was Raw vs. SmackDown 2009.
Yeah, that was another one I played a lot of.
That was like the only PSP game I played. My older brother had a PSP. And I always jacked his PSP to play wrestling because he bought the wrestling game on it. So like when he wasn't playing it, I was always playing the wrestling game on the PSP, even though I had it on the PS3.
And I thought it was one of the cooler things they had those discs where you could watch movies. Like I remember,
the
like
UMDs. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, like
Universal Movie Discs.
We would be traveling, and instead of playing the game, one of the big shows that me and my late wife used to love watching is Viva La Bam. I sit and watch that or watch a movie or something. So,
But then Sony had to go and ruin the PSP with the PSP Go and made it all digital and made it look ugly.
and well, the thing is, people started hacking it and pirating games, and that's why it ruined it for the Vita.
So, well, we're gonna get to the Vita. We've got 3 left here, so we're almost done.
Yeah.
This actually took a little longer than I thought, but we're having a good time.
Oh, I knew it was going to take forever.
Yeah, we're having a good time though. We're almost done.
Yeah.
Nintendo 3DS. The reason, now you said you were to put the DS above the Game Gear. The reason
Yes.
I opted not to do that is because I think the 3DS in many ways is superior to the regular DS.
Exactly. I mean, one of the biggest things, you can play them. It's backward compatible with DS, and you also had a bunch of good games that are on the 3DS.
The only bad thing, though, for all the good that it did when compared to the DS, they took away the Game Boy Advance player.
So the thing is, the DS though did it before that, though. I mean,
well, yeah, they did with the DSi, but not many people bought that one.
yeah. Well, I had that one eventually, but yeah, I really liked it. I mean, it would be badass if it had backward compatible to everything. Like if it played the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy Color, and Game Boy. I mean, damn, I'd be probably paying on that all the time still.
Yep. So yeah, the 3DS had the pseudo 3D effect in the graphics. It had it had a thumbstick, and then it eventually had 2 little thumbsticks on it, so we were able to control some DS games better, actually, like Super Mario 64 DS.
Yeah,
were controllable easier on the 3DS. 3DS had a lot of great games in its own right. It also had a virtual console. It had the Street Pass feature. It had the AR. It had the AR feature.
Oh, talking about the AR feature, what about that shooting game that was free that you go around?
Yeah,
I love that fucking game, bro.
Absolutely. So that's why you wanted me to put the regular DS above the Game Gear.
The Game Gear.
I couldn't really understand why, because I knew the 3DS was better. So I'm like, I'll put the 3DS above the Game Gear, but I don't think it.
If we're gonna do that, can we put it in front of the GBA then?
I could see that. I mean, to me, I would say it's a tie. I could see why though. To me, I would say the GBA and the 3DS are almost tied.
Alright.
And plus, I like this picture of the 3DS because it was the same color as the one that I had.
I think we should do, once we're done, we should screenshot this and say, this is art and this is me and your list, and see if anyone agrees or disagrees with it.
Well, once I upload it to YouTube and you help me share it, and you tag a bunch of people, I'd rather people watch the podcast first. And then, maybe after a week, I'll post the screenshot.
Because I want to see if people would agree with our
Or maybe
opinions.
well, not this week, but maybe next week, maybe we could ask Drew to bring it up on his show and see what the people think over there.
Yeah.
So next up is the PlayStation Vita, aka the JRPG machine. Because after Sony gave up supporting it, that's pretty much all you got on it.
See, the thing is, I think what happened is because then Sony had those announcements, and then I think they was focusing on PS4 games, and then the VR, and then they didn't say anything about Vita.
Well, the Vita came out in 2012. So it only had, a year and a half before the PS4 came out? So, yeah, PlayStation didn't treat it very well. I'll say that. They treated the PSP better, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the thing was, it was kind of like it was. It's like they promoted the PS4, and when they're like, oh, they didn't because they're trying to push PS4 stuff, and God forbid they didn't say anything about the Vita. People were like, oh my God, they stopped talking about the Vita. It must be dead.
What's going on there, Juan?
And then Sony's like, oh my God, people think that Vita is dead. I was like, I guess we can call it dead then, because you hadn't heard any support since, you know. But I know the Vita has a huge following.
It does because of the games that were supported on the Vita. The games I like to play, you know, and I do have a handful of those games. When I got my Vita, I got it for Christmas, and I got Mortal Kombat 9 on it, which the Vita version of MK9 is actually better than the console version because it came with the DLC characters and it came with an extra minigame that the PS3 version didn't have. It had Fruit Ninja. It had Fruit Ninja on it.
And you know what? What was cool about the Vita is that it was when the PS4 came out, they were trying to make it compete with what the Wii U was doing because they're like, oh, you want a gamepad with our PS4? Well, the Vita could be your version of the PS4 gamepad. And, hey, if you want to play it as its own self, it has its own games. And then, if you want to play the game, your PS4 games on the go, it can do that too.
So, so it had a lot of JRPGs on it. While Sony was supporting it, it had a few good games on it. I think it had a Ratchet and Clank game. It had Borderlands 2. It had a couple. It had at least one Call of Duty game. It had Madden and MLB for a little while. I think it did get one wrestling game, but it was kind of a shitty port. And then after that, after 2 years, then it became all Japanese anime games.
You know, it's bad when the sports games aren't done, when they're not even putting sports games. I mean, that's what happened to the Wii U. They put one Madden on there, one basketball game on there, when those games are usually the last games to come up, be the last ones on the system before it's considered completely dead.
Pretty much. So
minus the God, what's that? What's that one Let's Dance game?
Oh, Let's Dance, and we had Just Sing or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah, and then those Skylanders and shit like that.
Sing Star, that's what it was called.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna put the Vita, in my opinion, I'm gonna put the Vita lower than the PSP, but in middle B tier, low.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put it behind the Vita, behind the Wii even. Now here's the thing. While I rated the 3DS higher, I played the Vita more because of the games that it had on it that I like to play. But at the same time, I understand that the 3DS was a better quality system, and Sony should have treated the Vita better.
Yeah. I mean, I have to let you decide where the Vita goes. I like the PSP, and I like the DS. But as a Vita, I know it's, like I said before, it does have a bunch of good things. It definitely doesn't deserve to be in the C or D.
That's why I put it in the middle of the B tier, behind the PSP, the Wii, and the 360.
I'm okay with that.
We have one left, and that is the Game & Watch.
But there's one that's kind of a mid-between.
Okay.
And do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
This is the PlayStation TV.
See, I don't count that, because that was just maybe an add-on. I would consider that an add-on to the Vita.
It's not even an add-on. it's a Vita player game, a handheld console, but also you can stream your PS4 games to it. So to
Right,
me,
yeah.
it's a great system, but
It came out to support the Vita, though. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
you're right, and the Vita also was. You could also use the PS Vita for some PS4 games, as a secondary controller, even.
yeah,
So that's
or
pretty
like
cool.
as a gamepad.
I mean, we're not gonna push it up into the A tier with that. Let's just be real, but.
What the PSTV?
Well, I mean, no, I mean like the Vita as a whole, being able
Oh
to
no,
use
I'm
it
fine. I'm
as a
fine with
second
that.
controller and do remote play and stuff with it. We're not using those features to bump it up. That's just not gonna happen. But we got one left here, and that's the Game and Watch. This was a precursor to any handheld console ever. It was even a precursor to the god awful Bandai not Bandai, Tiger Electronics handheld
Actually,
disasters.
it's not the first one though. It's not, and I'm not going to count the little ones that go beep beep. It has the little red ones, the electronic football, whatever. Fuck that. That's just
Yeah,
that's
like the McDonald's fucking toy grade ones you would get
yeah.
sometimes.
There's actually a system that came out before the Game and Watch. It was called the Microvision.
I'd never heard of
And
that.
let me see if I can find it real quick.
While you're doing that, you know what's not on this list since the Virtual Boy got on this list?
What?
The Tiger Electronics R Zone, which was like a rip off of the. It was like a rip off of the Virtual Boy. As pathetic as that sounds.
We know that would be automatic D.
Yeah, that's just
And
real.
you can almost
If you're ripping off the Virtual Boy, you're just wasting money.
What about any of the Tiger handhelds? I mean, were any of the Tiger handhelds any good?
I've only ever had one.
And did you like it?
I don't really remember playing it. In fact, I remember it sitting in a drunk drawer in our kitchen most of the time. With the battery door missing.
The one that I actually enjoyed was baseball. We had baseball that I would play all the time. It's either I would play that one or the Game Boy. But let me grab this real quick.
I'm rearranging the S tier, Casey. I'm putting. I'm gonna put the. I'm putting the PS2 in the front of the S tier. That's my favorite PS2 console.
Ass.
That's one of my favorite consoles. And I'm gonna leave the rest of that alone. I think everything else is good the way it is.
Here it is. It's the Microvision.
Hold on. Let me get you on screen here. Okay. All right. Oh, cool. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Okay.
Yeah, it's a handheld. It's the first one, but how this cover right here is actually the cartridge. This is what actually has more of the guts of the system.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, because most of it, had the circuits, and the cover had it, and I think the screen was the only thing that was on here. But this one was they called it Blockbuster.
Blockbuster. I hope that was before the store actually came to be.
No, let's see what year. I assume this came before 79, so Blockbuster wasn't a thing yet.
Wow, that's fucking old, man.
And then if you look at the game, what game does it look like?
Breakout, Arkanoid.
Exactly. But this one says on the controls says balls, speed, paddle, go, and then you have your paddle wheel right here.
That's actually pretty neat.
Yeah, the box is great shape too, but it's from the same people from the Milton Bradley. I think, isn't Milton Bradley the people who does board games and shit like that?
One of them, yes.
Yeah. But, yeah. Actually, not sure how good it looks nowadays. Oh, actually, you know what? I've never actually opened it up and looked inside. Let's have what it looks like. This one actually has more than what I thought. This one comes with Blockbuster. And see, it has a window and has the controllers on there. This one actually has more than I thought. I just bought it because it said $10. It's like, oh, I know what that is. This is Connect 4.
Yo, Connect 4 is a badass game, though.
Yeah, so the button says players, skill, go, cop, drop, and reset.
So I'm guessing the go button would be like the start button.
Probably. And then Mindbuster.
Mindbuster, huh?
Mindbuster. And it just has numbers 1 through 9. Then it says PC, go, and game.
Interesting.
And it comes with the actual box Mindbuster as well. And I'll show you what the guts of the Microvision looks like. That's what it looks like.
So you would slide the other pieces onto that, and then that's how you get your graphics and stuff?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Looks like a big fucking TV remote again.
It does. I'm kind of shocked I never opened to see what it looked like. So I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't do that until now.
Alright, it's something for you to mess around with and make another video on.
I guess this is the interchangeable cartridges. So I don't know what the fuck is this. It looks like one of the card holders, but this one says Mindbuster as well. Huh. Interesting. But that was pretty cool.
Well, hey, that's something else now you can mess with and make another video on.
Yeah, if I had the time and energy for it. I should at least try it out and see how, because I hear the LCD screen rots. So
it looked like, based on those pictures, it looked like it had better graphics than the Game & Watch things did, and those came out later.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could replace the game, so I agree. You figured the Game & Watch would be awesome. But
we got one left here, Casey, so let's knock this out. The Game & Watch, I really don't know much about it other than the fact that, yeah, it was a bunch of pixels on a black and white screen, and you had to have imagination to figure out what you were looking at a lot of the time.
Oh, you know what? I don't think it was that bad. I mean, it's when you had these systems like electronic football, you had to have imagination. The Game & Watch actually has characters and stuff like that.
Didn't they make a Zelda one too?
Yeah. God!
They made a Donkey Kong one, I think. Right? There was a Zelda one.
Well, I had the Game Watch too. The Zelda Game Watch. I did a that has probably had about the same kind of graphics as the Game & Watch.
Let's not forget the Game & Watch's legacy still lives on because Mr. Game & Watch is a character in Smash, and there is a Game & Watch stage in Smash Bros. And they came out with the Super Mario Bros. 35 anniversary edition Game & Watch little handheld.
And that'll be coming out soon. I'll pick that motherfucker up.
Yeah, it's going to be sold through March 2021. So yeah, it's going to be another thing that's going to disappear at the end of March next year.
Well, I don't blame them on that. There's some things like that, and they're going to want to keep producing all the time.
So, with the legacy that the Game & Watch had, and the fact that Nintendo still makes, little oddities with it today.
Yeah.
Where do you think we should put it? It's definitely not D tier.
What the fuck?
What was that?
Did you hear that?
Sounded like something was blowing on you.
Garguts. I heard Garguts.
Well, that's impossible because he's not on the call.
What the fuck?
Sounded...
Oh, you know what? I'm on freaking Discord too.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow. All right, let me get this screen share up. Actually, I forgot to...
Oh my god, that's funny. Because I just heard Garguts.
I heard like a blast of wind. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Because I heard someone knock. I heard Casey, and it was Garguts.
I didn't hear that part. I heard something sounded like a blast of wind.
Well, I probably went.
So
I was shocked because I was like, "What the fuck?"
What do you think with the Game & Watch? C tier, high C tier?
You know what? You know why you heard the sounds of gusts of wind? Because I was thinking. I went.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, because I was trying to think. I think it's got to be in the B tier.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the processor to it.
All right,
to the Game Boy.
Well, we'll put it at the end of the B tier then.
I'm fine with that.
So let's save and download this. Oh, it actually lets me download the image immediately like this. Download image. Okay. Can I just do this? Let me see if it lets me do that. Save image as. Let me see.
I like that.
Let's see. Did it let me save? Did it let me? Is it gonna load? Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yep.
All right.
I got the image. So
I'm wondering if anyone's gonna. Juan's asking where's Neo Geo. Well, they didn't have that on there unless you. If you're asking about the Neo Geo, the AES system, I think we decided to put it in the B tier because it had arcade port games on there.
Yeah, it wasn't on the list, just like the Neo Geo. Neo Geo wasn't on there. Atari Lynx wasn't on there. Game Boy Color, for whatever reason, wasn't on there.
We decided, if anything we can think of. Oh shit! Here's another one, the Odyssey 2. That was not on there, but they had the Odyssey 1.
And the Vectrex wasn't on there either.
Oh, Vectrex, but I hear a ton of people love the Vectrex.
Yeah, we did pseudo rank the Neo Geo. It's not on the list, but we did mention it.
I would say as the Odyssey 2.
TSS says the Neo Geo for him would be a C tier. He goes, for me it was a fighting game machine. Other than that, it was nothing else.
Exactly. I mean, there were some good
Metal Slug was really fun. I like the Metal Slug anthology.
Metal Slugs were awesome. One of my favorite sport games, my favorite baseball games was it Super Baseball 2020? And you had the Baseball All-Star, was it Baseball All-Stars? And there's a bunch of good games on there, but it was a fighting game machine. Like how the TurboGrafx was a shooter machine.
Right. Well, Casey, that actually took a lot longer than I thought. That actually took us 2.5 hours to do.
Oh, it didn't surprise me. I knew looking at it and then noticing a couple that was not there. I was kind of hoping there was more stuff that would challenge my knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to put like if I really dug deep and found one that had every single thing, like all the Pong consoles and everything, we'd be here all night.
Oh, that's different. I wouldn't done the Pong consoles. If I had to do the Pong consoles, I'd put a C tier.
You know, they had a lot of ones, like, what was it, the RCA Studio 2 or whatever, the Magnavox 1, 2, 3, and 4000, the Telstar, and all that other shit, you know?
Well, I mean, I need to try out the Studio 2, and actually, I thought I was buying a freaking multi-cart on eBay. But apparently, because the guy showed a picture on eBay says multi-cart and had, so oh awesome! The guy has a multi-cart for the Studio 2. So it's like that.
I remember you mentioned that in your video, and you got beat, and all it was like game cover, like protection.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fuck, they're expensive, but I was like, you know what? I do need them because they'll protect them. So I was like, I was a little disappointed because I felt him putting that on there was a little deceptive.
But yeah, man, we had a good time tonight. Definitely got to say, it's actually holy shit, dude. It's almost 1:30 in the morning where I'm from.
Yeah.
I think you probably need to get going. I think I should definitely get going.
Well, I took a huge nap, dude. When I got home this afternoon, dude, not only I had a headache, I was having a frustrating day.
Let me look to see if there's any more gaming news that came out.
Probably not.
Well, since the last time I looked, see if there's anything else out there. No.
I had to talk about the Odyssey too. I probably would put those. I would probably C tier, high C tier or low B tier for the Odyssey 2.
So, I think we did everything we needed to do with the tier list tonight. Again, the Game Awards, December 10th. We're going to be doing a live stream, covering the whole thing, live reacting to the whole show, whether Casey's here or not. I hope he's here because it'd make things even more interesting.
I think it'd be fun. I mean, I'll be watching it, so why not?
Yep, and I'll stream it from my Twitch channel, and you'll be here. I don't know who else we can get on the call with us. I don't know if Drew would be interested in that, but.
Probably not. I would say TSS would be great, but I know Garguts love talking about this.
I mean, if you could ask around if anyone wants to be on the live reactions show of the Game Awards on December 10th, hey, I'm all for it.
I think it'd be fun. I'm down for it because, like I said, I'm gonna watch it because I really don't know who's gonna win.
We'll be up against Frank that night, though. Sorry, Frank.
And then I'm more like, what games are going to be announced? That's what more that I care about.
Right. Well, Casey, I think we reached the end of the road tonight because we're just dragging this out at this point.
Yeah, I'm getting tired.
You didn't have to worry about getting Eugene tonight.
Yeah.
Almost 3.5 hour showcase. We had a good time tonight. TSS, thanks for helping being our tiebreaker on a few of those. Juan, thanks for showing up. By the way, Juan, you missed Mr. Top 10 list yesterday, streaming. He's going to be streaming on Sunday. Shout out to him. He's going to be streaming Sunday night, playing Darkstalkers 2 and 3. So that's gonna be pretty cool. I'm gonna be in his chat as I always am. He's pretty good YouTuber. You know, I like him. I like his videos. He does a lot of video game top 10 lists. Casey, if you're interested, a lot of fighting game. You know, top 10 lists. A lot of other, different kinds of top 10 lists and stuff like that. He's got a couple people on the show with him. Check him out, Mr. Top 10 List on YouTube. Again, streaming Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, Derailed Podcast. We had a great episode this past Sunday night. I mean, it was star-studded. You know, from the chat to the call. We had Jake DeMarco in the chat. We had JB Sports Radio. We had Joe Cronin. We had the Trolls in the house. We had a pretty good call. Devious Dave Rose was in the chat for a little bit. We had Jesse J on the call. We had a pretty good time. I just noticed, Casey, your fucking camera's frozen again. Okay, there it goes. I don't know why that does that. But yeah, so check out Derailed Podcast every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Next installment is this Sunday, episode 137. I can't wait to see what Drew's got for us. And stop subscribing to all them big titty bitches, Casey. God damn it.
I didn't realize that, and then they're like, oh, why are you subscribing to some of the girls in the community? I'm like, it's not like I'm going in there like, oh yeah. I'm like, they're part of the community. I'm like, why can't I be nice and give them a follow? I mean, is there some of them attractive? Yes. I mean, but I'm also not like freaking stalking their photos or anything. I'm just giving them a sub. But some of them, yes, it's obvious. Okay, yeah, there's big tit women, and it's kind of hard to not follow some of them, you know. And it's funny, one of them's like, why are you sub to yesboobs.com? I'm like, I was like, hold on, what? I was like, I had to look it up. I was like, oh, well, you see why. I mean, it's obvious.
Oh,
but,
man. Jesus Christ, man.
Dude, that shit was funny.
Well, man, at the end of the day, man, you do you, bro, but hey, my name is The Rose for Casey is Raw. You know, we need to get the fuck out of here. It's getting late, and I need to take a shit. So, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, we'll catch your ass down the road.